Okay, so everybody, welcome to our live stream. This will be recorded and uploaded to video to YouTube. I'm really making this for one person in particular, but really I think anybody who's never played Core before might find this helpful because I've already made a recording about how to get through our newbie tutorial, and I talked about the kind of the background of the game and our theme and so on. And the company is evil. Tonight I'm going to be talking about ways to play the game that are not immediately obvious in the tutorial. So I'm basically giving you a special tutorial. Some of this stuff I'm going to have to make a newbie quest that explains this stuff, so that because as people play through the game, those who stick around, they will eventually be given these tips by either myself or the other senior players of the game. They'll say, oh, by the way, did you know about this command? Did you know about that? And I had a conversation with somebody just a couple of days ago that really prompted me, between that person who is a very experienced mud player and a person who's never played a mud before in their lives. This other person, who's the person I'm making this video for, is a personal friend of mine. And I've known this person for many, many years, like decades. And this person said, hey, I want to, you keep talking about your game. I want to try it. Her name is Jasmine, and she's actually made some videos for our channel. She's a girl that's got a bit of a rack, if you want to say it that way. So anyway, I'm going to give a quick overview for somebody who's stumbled upon this channel, because the channel on YouTube will have certain tags, like the video will be tagged with mud, online game, text game, and a few other things. So we have actually had people stumble upon our videos because of how I've tagged them, and I've actually gotten some positive feedback. In fact, one person said, "Dude, can you make more of these?" So, so anyway, this is for people like you who are old school and want to play an old text game, which is what Core is. You're seeing in the background here. Let me pull that up. Okay, so you're seeing the Mud client that I'm using. Most of us, by the way, this screen right now is my game administrator account, so I see things that normal people cannot. So I know who has their sounds turned on. I know what version. Yeah. Hi, world. I'm Alec. Hey, Panda. I don't think Panda's listening yet. I'll have to. Hey, Alec, can you share the Twitch URL for the stream with Panda? So Panda's a fairly new player, and he's really enjoying the game. He keeps coming back. Those are the type of players that we like. The people keep coming back and all of that. Okay, so tonight I'm going to be playing this newbie character. So I'm going to be playing as this character named Axe. So he's one of my alts. Everybody who hits the level cap, they get a special code that lets them create an Artrid character. Artrid is a special race that has 3 wielding limbs. So you could actually, once I get my level sufficiently high and I get good skills, I'll be able to use up to 3 weapons simultaneously. And that's what makes this race special, because this is the only race that a player can acquire, excuse me. By the way, I am drinking a little bit, so as this thing kind of rolls along, if I start slurring, you're just going to have to bear with me, forgive me, and hopefully I will be understandable as this thing goes along. So the first command that everybody needs to know is what I just typed, score. So score gives you all-in-one all in one screen. It gives you the most important characteristics about your player. It's got your statistics. It's got your class ranks. We have 3 classes. You all start as rank C. C is in Charlie. And through playing the game naturally, every single one of these will be able to rise up to B as in beta. And that does provide down with Steve. Yes, down with Steve. Um, so these are our classes. So we have it is a multi-class game, so you can be these 3 things simultaneously. Here, where my mouse is, and Alec, are you able to see my mouse? Are you able to see my cursor move? I think when I set up the stream, I believe I set it up so that you can see my mouse. Experience points, how much experience you need for the next level, how much experience you have that you can either save up. Cool. Thank you. Thank you very much for confirming it, Alec. So you can either bank your experience and save it for your next level, or you can spend it on skills or stats. Of course, these are your stats, and there's a separate command that I'm about to show you. It's not covered in the tutorial, which is why I'm making this video. Some other information, of course, your level, your title, and you get, actually your title is here, sorry. Apprentice Miner is my title, and as you level up, you get a new title automatically assigned. Hit points, stamina points, role play points. Role play is actually awarded by other players. It is strictly for, you can buy things with your role play points, like eye color, hair color, and other types of things that don't have any impact on the game itself. And then your carrying capacity. So this character, based on his strength, he can carry up to 2,400 units of weight, and he's carrying 983 out of this. And you do have to watch this because it's not explained in the tutorial, which is why I'm explaining now. As your, notice here it's color coded. Those of you who can see color will notice that this is yellow. Once it gets red, your combat effectiveness is impacted. What you just saw happen just now is actually something I added last weekend. We now have a loyalty system, just like a lot of online mobile gacha games have, where as you play the game, from time to time, you will get rewards, and they just go to you automatically. You'll get credits, which is our form of money. You can see it here. Or sometimes you can get ore. And on rare occasion, you can get what's called a shield generator, which is a very important piece of equipment. You can also see, here's the last time I worked in the mines. In this particular game, we have a custom created mining system built from scratch. It is unique to coremud. Tells you how much you've mined. And this is an important statistic here, because when you get to a certain amount, and that amount is a secret, quest info, then my miner ranking will change from C to B. It will give me access to a better mine, better equipment, and my skill cap will go up for mining. And when you get to level 3, you get an apartment. It's free, you don't pay rent, and it's a place where you can customize the description, you can store equipment. There's like a storage workbench there. So if you're carrying too much, you can go to your apartment. In my case, I'm in the North Housing Dome. I'm on the 4th floor, southeast quadrant, apartment number 27. Okay. Right? Okay, so that's our score. The next important command to know about is stats. So again, we see our stats, but now it's showing, oh, by the way, you can get help on each one of these stats. So you can see some information in our help, and from anywhere in the game. And we added it actually this year. So this year, We added the ability to improve a stat anywhere in the game. So you no longer have to hike back to what we call the human resources department. So it used to be that's where everybody had to go. Now you can use this command anywhere in the game, and you can check the cost. So you remember I talked about how you have available experience, which is the delta between the minimum experience required for the level that you are and how much you've banked. So I can spend up to this amount, 1986, on a stat if I want to. So if I want to improve, let's say, my strength, again, I have to be sober, which I'm no longer. Stats cost. Okay, so you just type stats cost all by itself, and it tells us, okay, my dexterity and my intelligence are capped for my level. However, I can still improve these other ones, and these numbers are the experience cost. So what I tell new players is, because we have a lot of new players who ask the question, they say, okay, what do I invest in terms of stats? Now, when you level up, you will get a free bonus point where you can spend on any stat that is not capped. So when this character levels up, he'll be able to buy for free 1 point in strength, constitution, probably dexterity. And what I tell people is that when you're first starting out, really focus on 3 things. You need to focus on strength, which impacts how much you can carry. If you are a knife user, it also impacts how much damage you do with your knife. Constitution is always a good thing to spend on, because that directly impacts how many hit points you have. Every 1 point in Constitution equals 100 hit points. Dexterity is critical for both knife users and gun users, and those are the 2 weapon types that we have now. So we got rid of all of the kind of medieval, if I'm saying that right, medieval. Some people say medieval, like we used to have clubs, staves, blades, and other things like that, and we scrapped all that, and now everything is futuristic, because this is a sci-fi game. We were set to 650 years in the future. Dexterity has 2 important functions. It affects your 2-hit roll. So if you've ever played Dungeons and Dragons and you've rolled a 2-hit, we have the same thing. So dexterity directly impacts your chance to hit your enemy. And if you're using a gun, it also impacts how much damage you do. So dexterity is helpful for both gun and knife users. And dexterity also helps gun users. And like I said, strength helps the knife users. Okay, so you would just type stats, improve, and then the name of the stat. It basically says it right here. Okay, so now this is not going to work because my intelligence is capped, but if it was not capped and I had enough spare experience, I would type that, and in this case it says nope, no worky. You can't do it, but I could buy Constitution. In fact, I'm going to do that right now because I do have enough points. So I'm going to improve my Constitution. So remember, I had a max of 150 hit points. I'm going to buy a point. Okay, tells me, okay, you spent that. What's my new cost? Okay, every time you bump up a stat, the cost to get it to the next point will increase. So it's a scale. Let's take a look at my score now. Okay, so I was 150, like I said, and now I'm 160. So I may have said it wrong earlier in the video, so I apologize. It's 1 point of constitution equals 10 hit points. So I'm sorry about that. I misspoke. Dexterity also impacts your stamina points. And that has some importance. As you move around in the game, if you move too fast, it starts draining your stamina. There's also other things that you do in the game that drains stamina. Stamina and hit points do heal naturally over time. And there's ways to accelerate that, and the newbie quest teaches you that. Now let's take a look at the next command. The tutorial does not cover this. So again, we need to make a tutorial that is covering the things that I'm showing you. Okay, so Core is a skill-based game in terms of your skills have a direct impact on your performance in various areas. So at the top upper left-hand corner are my attack skills. So attack, that directly affects my 2-hit. I am currently, this character has a skill of 7, and he can go up to 10 until he levels up. Defense, this impacts, well, how you defend against an attacker. So the better your defense, the more chance that you're going to have to dodge or mitigate the damage that you have, that you're receiving. Double wielding is exactly what it looks like. If you have a race, and there's only one race in the game that is restricted to just one weapon, and that's Cyborg. So Cyborg can only have one weapon, so if you're Cyborg, don't bother investing in double wielding. All these things here in the upper left-hand corner will progress naturally as you play the game. Melee is for unarmed combat. So if you decide you're going to be like you want to play a monk, right? You don't want to buy a weapon, you don't want to maintain it, you don't want to refuel it, which the newbie quest teaches you how to do that. So you could do weaponless combat, and that's what what melee does. Over on the right-hand side are the two weapon-specific skills that we have in the game. I advocate that you pick one. So you either pick energy gun or you pick energy knife. You equip that type of weapon and you stick with that. And notice that, so I'm using guns on this character. You notice that my energy knife skill is 4. So it suggests that I've been using it. That is not the case. One of the changes that we added in 2021, by the way, happy Thanksgiving to those of you in the United States. I'm recording this on Thanksgiving evening, 2021. When I level up, any skill that I have not invested in automatically gets bumped up to my level. So this character is a level 4 character. So you notice that I've got a lot of skills that I really haven't used yet, and they're all 4 because I'm a level 4 character, as you see here. Okay, so the vast majority of these things will just progress naturally. I don't advocate spending your available experience on skills. Let the skills progress naturally, or if you're a rich player, you've been doing a lot of mining, or you've been doing a lot of combat, and you've accumulated a lot of credits. There is a special place in the Human Resources Center where if there's a senior player who's willing to train you, they can go there, they can be the skill master, and you just spend credits. It goes to the company, and your skill goes up based on, you can go all the way up to either the cap for your level or whatever the skill master has, whichever number is lower. Okay, so and there's many senior players who are willing to be training masters. So so that's a good thing. And the training master gets a commission from the company for training you. So they get a percentage of what you spend. So you're spending 1,000 credits on a skill level. The 1,000 credits goes to the company, and then the company gives a commission immediately to the trainer. So everybody wins. So don't spend your spare experience on skills. Progress naturally or spend credits that goes to a commissioned training guy. Okay, I'm not going to go over every single skill. Some of these are not really used or not that important. Farming is really more applicable for when you own your own mining dome, because when you own your own personal mining dome, we call that a PMD, personal mining dome. You can buy a farming plot, and so you can plant crops. You can plant crops that are edible. The edible crops will heal you, and you can water the crops. And the act of planting, harvesting, watering, you get farming skill points. So, I will eventually progress this skill. Mining progresses naturally, and I'm going to demonstrate in today's video how to mine in Core. There is a quest for this, so the quest teaches you. The quest is thrown at you automatically. As part of completing the quest or executing the quest, you get your starter equipment for mining. So it's a good thing to play through that. I'm not going to go over deception. So really it's mining. Medic was actually something I added just a few weeks ago. So medic, do I have any food? Not yet. I need to get some food. Okay. So medic skill will improve what you get when you eat food that's edible, because the food heals you, and also drinks. And I noticed that my character here does not have any drinks. So let's go ahead and take care of that. Where am I? I'm in the starport. Okay. So let's go. This guy, by the way, this LRAC NPC, he's the guy that when you encounter him for the very first time, he gives you the mining quest. So you just follow his instructions, you do what he says, and you'll get your mining equipment, and you get some money. Let's see here. Gun. Oh, we got the pub is to the south. Okay. So being a text game, you just read the description of the room that you're in, and many of the rooms will tell you what's nearby. Not all. This is the newbie area that I'm in right now. When you enter a shop, if the shop is not tended by a player, then there will be a shopkeeper droid that will arrive and they'll tend shop. So that was also something that was the automatic summoning of the shopkeeper droid. We call them automatic. Every shop has one, and prior to 2021, you had to ring the bell. Unfortunately, we had a number of players who joined this year who English was not their first language, and they had a hard time following this instruction. And so some of them just rage quit. They're like, I can't use the shop. It says nobody's tending the shop. And I'm like, dude, do not read the instruction. It's like right here. It's, just ring the bell to summon the droid. So anyway, now you enter the shop. If the droid isn't there, he comes automatically. You can see when I enter this room, he came within a few seconds. The newbie quest tells you how to buy from these shops. You type list. It tells you this. Type list. Every single type of shop that is run by the company or run by a player will have this little help at the bottom. So I need to buy some drinks. So first, let me check how many credits I have. Okay, so I have quite a bit of credits, and that's really because of the change that I added last weekend, where now you get these rewards that kind of flow in automatically. So you can sit in the game, you can idle overnight, and you're going to get credits flowing in. So take advantage of that. You want to get the credits. Again, you can get some more. You can get the shield generator, 1 out of 10 chance of getting a shield generator. These rewards are pretty good. The players that have tried this out and are active, they've given me very positive feedback about this change, about the rewards that flow in. And you get the reward every hour. So just log in, stay logged in, and you're going to get the reward. Again, you don't have to do anything other than be logged in. Okay? Just like a lot of the gacha games that you can play online, they give you rewards. In some cases, it's a daily reward, but a couple of games that I've played on my tablet, they give you rewards. One of them gives you a reward every like hour, and then there's another tier at 4 hours. There's another 24 hours. So we're trying to basically be comparable to those types of games. We don't do gacha here. We will never, ever, ever attempt a microtransaction with you for real money. We're actually forbidden from doing that by various. No, Alec. We're not doing slavery here. And we could give you like a robo redhead. Like we could make a droid or a doll. We could probably do that. But not a real person. If you want that, you have to talk to Jasmine. She will assist you for a fee. That's going to be direct between you and her. I don't want anything. I don't even want to know that it's happening, okay? All right. So we type list. We're going to buy, so don't buy Liaison alcohol because that's specifically for gun shops. But you can buy anything else other than the Liaison alcohol. So if you can see color, green is alcohol. And that's this column right here about the type. So alcohol heals you. So let's buy, I'm going to buy a couple of pale ales. You can type order by the number, and you're going to get 1. Or you can order in bulk. I can buy 5 at a time. Boom. Now I take a look at my inventory. Okay, that sometimes this Mudlet does this. This is really odd. Okay. So now I just bought 6. I bought the 1, and then I bought the 5 in bulk. So now it says I have 6 of them. Now, one piece of feedback that I got this year from a player is they complained, I won't say complained, they offered constructive feedback. And it was actually very good because they said, hey, they had a ton of things in my inventory. Let's switch over to my admin guy. My admin has more stuff than can fit on the screen. And so, and we did always have these, well, I won't say always, but actually several years back, we added these categories so that the inventory is sorted alphabetically by category. And then within each category, the items are sorted alphabetically. And somebody who has a large inventory like I have said, trying to manage my inventory is really messy. I mean, there's just so much to look at. And I'm like, actually, that's really good feedback. That's valuable feedback that this player gave to me. It's like, okay. So let's switch back to my test character that we're playing with tonight. Martred. Okay. You notice that each of these categories, so what I did this year in response to the constructive, and again, I'm not disparaging, it was extremely valuable feedback that this player gave to me. I changed the categories so each one is a single word. And that you can see that word here where this kind of banner is. I said, okay, let's change it so that I can do, instead of just I for inventory, and the tutorial doesn't teach you this, so again, it's one of the reasons why I'm doing this video. You can actually type I space, and by I is a built-in alias for INV, or the word inventory is all spelled out, but it's just so much easier to type I. For those of you who are blind, we do have blind players who play this game. In fact, we have one online right now. I'm saying I is in the letter I, not your eyeball, okay? So you type I, in the case of here, I can type I edible, And now I only see the things that I can consume, right? Just like gear, right? This could be my weapons and my armor, okay? So now I just see that stuff. I need to, the tutorial teaches you can wield the weapon. You can either, because Core uses a limb-based combat system where each weapon goes in a particular limb. You can specify which one it goes to. It doesn't matter. There's no right-handed, left-handed in this game. So if you have two, in my case I have three, wielding appendages, any one of the three, it all works the same. It does not matter, okay? The simple, easy way is just to type all one word, wield all. Okay? So it looks at what gear you're carrying. It looks at how many limbs you have available, and it tries to wield everything all in one shot. And so if I type I gear again, now you can see it's wielded in my first tentacle. So again, this is the special reward race that you get when you hit your primary character hits the level cap. You can make one of these very special characters that has 3 tentacles that you can use to wield. The other thing that I wanted to show, which oh, yeah, Alec. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you want to, I mean, I use this every single day. So when you log in, the game will automatically remember what armor you have, and your armor will be worn automatically. So whatever you were wearing when you last logged in, the game automatically wields it or wears it for you, but you need to wield your weapon because the game doesn't quite understand or know what it is that you intend to do during this playing session. So again, I do wield all, okay? All right, now the next command to know about is called equipment. So this shows you what your gear, but it shows it in a different way. So now it says it's the same stuff, right? It shows my weapons, shows my armor, shows, if it's wielded or worn. But now it says, okay, for this weapon, over here in the inventory command, it does show there's a column for either armor class or weapon class, and it shows you the current armor class or weapon class for that particular item. But in this equipment command, it also shows what the maximum is. When you first acquire a new weapon or a new piece of armor, the armor class or weapon class is going to be the same value as the maximum. So you don't have to do anything. If that piece of gear that you've acquired will be maxed out according to, in my case, I bought these items from a shop. Okay. Now, why are we showing the maximum? Because when you die, so if you get killed in combat, each piece of armor, each weapon that you have, has a chance of decaying, and it will decay by 1. Let's take a look at my admin. Okay, my admin needs to buy some new stuff or repair, because you see on mine, I have 3 items that are showing in red where the current value is not the same as the maximum. So ignore the environment suit. That'll be a topic for another video. That's kind of advanced gameplay. You don't have to worry about an environmental suit until you hit about level 16 and you're going to attempt the quest called Payroll Mystery. Until you get to that point, just don't worry about an environment suit. Again, that'll be another. Yep. Exactly. By the way, what Alec is doing, and then the tutorial quest does teach you about our chat system. So we have multiple chat channels, and this one here called RL stands for real life, and that's where we can just it's like a general chat channel. So it's not role play. It's just general chat. We talk to each other about whatever. We try to avoid 2 things, probably 3 now, just because it's so sensitive. We try to avoid in the public. So this is a public channel, so anybody logged in can see. So this goes to everybody logged in. So everybody sees it at the exact same time. We try to avoid talking about politics unless you know everybody who's online and you know that everybody's comfortable talking about it. We have differing views about politics because we have people from all over the world. We have the bulk of our folks are in North America, but we have folks in Australia, and we have folks in other places around the world. We are an English-speaking game, so all public chat is in English. We try to avoid current day politics. We can talk about, down with Steve. Steve, by the way, is one of my co-administrators, and yeah, he's a jerk. So down with Steve is our running gag. Only a coder can do this. Oh, I need to turn on my sounds. That's another thing that the tutorial does not cover. If you are using a client like Mudlet, but there are others that have this option, this setting called MSP, standing for Mud Sound Protocol. There are many clients that support this. You turn that on your client, and then you just have to instruct the game to send you the sound codes. And so what you do, I'm going to do this on my little test character. You type, it's a toggle. You toggle it on by typing set sound. And this is okay. I've turned on my sounds. Now the game understands. By the way, this is a game side command, not a client command. So the game now knows that this character wishes to hear sounds. And if you happen to be playing Core at work and you're about to join a Zoom call, type it again to turn it off, because some of us, all the coders, all the staff, and our senior players have their own crazy login sounds that it's actually all my voice, but I do. One of the things that I do aside, by the way, I didn't really introduce myself. The other videos on the channel describe I am the creator of this game. So I'm the founder, I am the chief architect. But as a side job, and again, all unpaid volunteers. Hang on. Needed that. I do the sounds. So I do I do voice impressions. In fact, just the other night, I did a Sling Blade guy, Billy Bob Thornton. It's absolutely hysterical. I want to play that sound one more time. Oh, darn it. I forgot to turn the sounds back on. Okay. We'll do one more.
Down with Steve! Down with Steve! Steve sucks. Yeah, Steve sucks.
Oh, yeah, putting on the Ritz. Putting on the Ritz. Where is that? I don't have them all memorized, but this one is a little political. So I'm kind of violating my own rule. But, oh, here we go. I got called by a scammer the other day, and I got really angry. So I recorded this.
Hello, sir. This is Rachel from Auto Warranty Services calling to let you know that your warranty has expired. Press 1 if you'd like to talk to an agent.
Do I even have a car? I don't know if I have a car. Come on, man. I'm going to challenge you to a round of push-ups. I'm putting the phone down.
So, yeah, that was my Joe Biden. Sorry. Sorry about that, but that's how I roll. Okay, so let's move on. We have a new viewer, so welcome, uh, jhart1228. Welcome to the channel. We are talking about coremud, which is our text game. We are now in our 25th year. So we launched January 1st, 1996. That's a long haul. So we're pretty happy that we're still running. Actually, December 2020, we actually got a brand new server, faster, 64-bit, more CPU, more RAM, beautiful. Works perfectly. We did have a problem back in, I want to say late August 2021, where, and it's frustrating, we have RAID disks for redundancy, and both disks failed at the same time, and we lost about 20 days of content in the game, and we lost about a year's worth of content in our forum and wiki. We're now doing a lot better on backing stuff up every single day. We've got rolling retentions. It goes up to GitHub. So, we learned a very painful lesson, but it was a valuable one. So, yeah, so we're doing a lot better. But so let's continue with the tutorial here. Okay, so we covered equipment. Okay, the next thing that the built-in tutorial doesn't teach you, but I'm going to teach you right now, is the command called shields. This is a very important command. Doesn't look too exciting on this newbie character. He's level 4. You can see the armor class. So shield generators, this is what this is telling me about. Every single piece of equipment you can slot, with the exception of a cloak. Cloak is the odd man out. Everything else you can slot shield generators. The shield generators kick in automatically, and their purpose is to mitigate these types of damage. And I get asked all the time about these types of damage, so I want to cover this because our in-game tutorial does not cover this topic. When you're a lowbie like I am on this particular test character, well, first of all, when you acquire a new piece of equipment, it doesn't have any shields. So you just get the armor class for the item, and that's all you have. With the change that went in last weekend, where you get every hour you get a 1 in 10 chance of getting a shield generator as a reward for being logged in. Then you get a shield generator. Oh, I need one for my helmet. So my helmet. Oh, I don't have a helmet, do I? It's telling me AC is 0. Oh, I need to get a helmet. Hello. Need to fix that. Okay, where am I? I'm in the newbie pub. Let's go to the newbie. So the tutorial that's given to you automatically when you join the game, it does teach you about how to use these various shops. And there's actually, the tutorial it gives you credits so you can go shopping. And as you work your way through the tutorial, it tells you, go to the armor shop, buy 2 pieces of armor, go to the weapon shop, buy a weapon, go to the pub, buy so many drinks. So it's basically giving you, it's helping you get your starter equipment that everybody in the game needs. So when you are in the starport, which is the newbie area, it's really designed for people like, you can use the starport to grind your way from level 1 to level 3, and then it's time to move on and do other content. Or you can just do the newbie quest and move on. Because once you complete the newbie quest, the game is open world. You can go anywhere in the game except for a couple of areas that are restricted for certain levels, and that's to protect you, because if you try to fight stuff in there, you're going to die. So, and we did have to restrict one of those areas because a couple of newbies went in there. They got killed immediately when they did their first attack. And some folks just rage quit because they didn't see the little sign saying only excuse me, I'm having a problem. Only enter here if you're level 8, or only enter here if you're level 20. And it's not explained to you in the in-game tutorial, but there is a level differential. The greater the difference between you and the thing you are fighting, if that thing is higher level than you, it's going to do more damage to you. And if you try to attack something that's like way higher, you're going to die. And you're going to die within like 10 seconds because that thing is just going to wail on you because that thing is higher skills. Monsters has skills just like us players do. So when I attack something, and I'm gonna do an attack actually as part of this video. It's explained. I actually demonstrated in the there's like a 1 hour walkthrough, newbie walkthrough video that is on our YouTube channel, and I do show combat when you're a lowbie like me. In this case, again for our new visitor, this is a level 4 character, so this guy is weak. If I try to attack something that's level 20, it's going to wail on me, and I'm dead. And I do want to show an important command that will help you identify a situation where if you're going to attack this thing, you're going to get slaughtered. So I'm going to show you that in just a few minutes here. Okay, so I need to get a helmet in this armor shop. And in the armor shop, we have type, this column right here. And I'm just looking for a helmet. There's a cloth helmet. Cloth is awful because it's armor class 1. It looks like that's all I have to choose from here. So there are better shops in the game that make better stuff. But for right now, I'm going to go ahead and order this one. So this is item number 8 in this particular shop. Again, the item numbers are just arbitrary. It's based on the alphabetical sorting of the item. So I'm going to order number 8. Okay, so that one cost me 100 credits. It has been given to me. I am not yet wearing it. So you can see I have the mining hat, but you can see it doesn't have the word worn after it. Do I have a shield? Oh, I do have a shield installation terminal here. Do I have any shield generators available? I do. Okay. So each shield generator that you receive as a reward will be customized for your current level. So at the time it's given to you, it will have the kinetic, ion, and plasma bonuses associated with it. So how do you examine these things? So in the parser that we're using, and this is again 25-year-old game, the command parser is not particularly intuitive. It needs some TLC. That is probably the number one point of feedback is people who are used to playing other types of online text games don't understand our syntax. We have a lot of stuff that's customized, but the command parser is a kind of like the pre-built parser that we got with the base library about 25 years ago. So you type L for look. That, by the way, this is an L, not a number 1. You can either type the full name of the item, or in some cases there will be a built-in alias. In this case, the built-in alias for this thing. And I'm looking at this. I've got 4 generators. So if I want to examine each one, I type a number. First generator, second, third, fourth. Okay. If I don't specify a number, it's just going to pick the first one. Okay. So what I'm looking for here is, looks like these all have the same stats. So even though, we've got 3 that I acquired at level 3, 1 that I acquired at level 4, but they all have the same stats. Again, you don't get the better stuff until you level up. So I'm going to go ahead and install this number 4 here. So the idea, and again, the tutorial doesn't explain this, so that's why I'm showing you. So the trick is you remove the item if you're wearing it. In my case, again, I'm not wearing the mining hat. At the terminal that's in the armor shop. You look at it, and it tells you the instructions. All you do is type install. Okay, it lists the generators that are in your inventory. Now here it does show you the stats. So you saw me examine the 4, but I really didn't have to do that. I was just demonstrating our parser. So you type install, it says, okay, you've got 4 generators in your inventory, and here's the statistics for each. Which one do you want? Again, kinetic, plasma, ion. Sorry, they're all the same. I'm just going to pick one since they're all the same. So it says, which one do you want to install? You type the number or you type Q to get out of the menu. So I'm going to hit 1. It's okay. It presents to you now a menu of the things that you are not wearing. In this case, I have not worn my mining hat, so that is my item available. I type the item number, and it says, okay, each item, each armor piece, as I explained earlier in the video, our combat is limb based. So when a monster attacks me, the game will randomly select one of my limbs: head, torso, my arms, my legs, my hands, my feet, and that's where the damage goes. So the armor for those limbs have sockets where you can install a shield generator. So this hat goes on my head, so that says, okay, you want to put it in your head? Yeah, okay. Okay, no cost. Okay, so I did not get charged anything by the game. It was free. So as long as you have a shield generator, you can, again, you either get them for free. There's a 10% chance every hour, or if you fight a droid or an NPC, so you don't get them from monsters, but you get them from NPCs and you get them from droids, there is a random chance that that enemy will drop a shield generator as part of the loot. It's a loot table. So there is a chance you can get one as a combat reward. Now, if I type install again, okay, so now I have 3 things. Okay, I'm not wearing my hat. So it says, okay, do you want to install it in your hat? Well, we don't have any empty sockets. Now, this is an intentional money sink in the game. It's a way to fight mudflation, okay? Because, people tend to, especially as they rank up and they're doing lots of mining and they're getting a lot of credits, there needs to be some form of a money sink. And this is one of them, which is when you rank up and you get better shield generators, there's no way to remove a socketed shield generator. So the one that you saw me install just a moment ago, where I installed it into the head socket of my mining hat, I can't pull that generator out and install something better. I have to basically acquire a new piece of equipment. And then the new piece of equipment, all the sockets are empty, and I install it, the better generator in the better armor. So that's the money sink. The money sink encourages you to buy new armor. This armor is not something that is lootable, so you do not get usable armor as a combat reward. You buy it from a player shop. Okay. Now in this case, I'm buying from the company-run armor shop that's in the starport, but this shop will eventually be unavailable to me. So once I hit, I want to say it's either level 7 or level 8, I will no longer be able to buy anything from the starport shops. I'm going to need to go elsewhere. And the best stuff in the game is made by players. So the player-run shops, and again, this is not covered in the tutorial. The best the best shops in the game are run by players. Each player, once they have enough money, they can buy a personal mining dome, and then for their personal mining dome, they can buy a shop, one shop of their choice. And that is something that also the player-run mining domes and the player-run shops, all of that was coded from scratch. by me, except for 2 shops written by somebody else. Everything else I wrote. Um, so all of that stuff, like the shop that you're seeing right now, a player could buy this for their own personal mining dome. They could buy their own armor shop. They can make their own armor. They can name the stuff whatever they want. So a player can pick and choose what type of armor they want to make, and they basically pick the material, and the material drives the armor class, and they can name the thing whatever they want, as long as it's yes, Alec, by the way, is one I would describe Alec as one of our senior players. He's on frequently. He has its own weapon shop. So he sells energy weapons. So he sells the guns, he sells the knives, and he does custom orders. In fact, I ordered stuff from him last week. So you want to utilize the player-run shops because all the players who run a shop who are active, they're quite happy to take custom orders. They don't charge you extra for it. They just charge you whatever the price ought to be so that they can make a profit to recover their expenses. Again, that's the whole topic of how the player-run shops work and how you make money off of them, and that's going to have to be its own video because there's no way I can jam it into tonight. I'm focusing on the new player experience, so it's not yet time to talk about the player-run shops. You don't need to hit a player-run shop until, like I said, you get to about level 8, and then it's time to start going shopping from the players. Okay, next important command, and this is critical. This one also, unfortunately, it's not covered in our the tutorial quest that you get. You type help command list. Okay, this gives you a about one page, maybe a page and a half. It's a cheat sheet of not every single command in the game, but these are the ones that are commonly used. Our help system, our in-game help system, actually is integrated with our online wiki. So if you're not ready to create a character yet, you can still browse our help online at this URL. And by the way, it is linked on our website. So you go to coremud.org, and on the left-hand side, there is a list of links, and one of them goes to our wiki. And you can browse the wiki. It's searchable. So anything that we put in the wiki is integrated into the in-game help. So actually this article this is maintained online on our wiki, and Alec, who is participating in tonight's stream, he is one of our wiki curators. So if he made a change to this article, it would immediately be reflected in the online help. If he creates a new article from scratch, either myself or Steve have to execute a command to make the in-game help aware of the new article, or when we restart the game restarts automatically every 3 days. And when that happens, that will also update the in-game help at that time. So we're pretty proud of this system, the help system. We're very happy with it. We've got lots and lots of articles out there, and you can see here the stuff that's in green is I can type help and that word in green, and I'm going to get a help article that's specifically about that. Okay, so help command list, once people know that that's available, people are like, gosh, I wish I knew about this like months ago, because this gives you, the newbie quest teaches you how to move around. Okay, and I think it talks about the command look. Directions doesn't talk about. Let's just do that. Talks about how to communicate, the different types of things that we can do, how to talk in the room, how to say something out of character in the room. So some people like to use this OOC command out of character because they want to discriminate between when they are in character and when they're talking about real life. Not everybody does that, so but a few people do. Okay, we have a paged system. You can override how many lines you see per page. Okay, talks about combat. Okay, where all. I need to add wield all to this. Okay, so wield all is missing from this, so I need to add it. Consider is the command that I want to teach you next. It's very important. This is the one where you're going to know if you're going to get slaughtered or not. Okay, information, I've already shown score, skills, and stat. I've not yet shown inventory info. I need to show you that. Inventory, we already covered that. That's that I've been using. Next reboot, when the game is going to have its next scheduled reboot. Again, it's about every, I believe we have it set right now for every, I think it was 3 days. I think Steve bumped it up to 5. And then it shows other types of things like how to give objects, take objects, give money to another character, to another player, if that's what you wish to do. Like if you're paying them for a service that they're performing for you. You don't have to save. Okay, when you quit, so when you say, okay, I'm logging out for the day, it will automatically save you all of your gear, anything in the inventory command that says auto load and has this little asterisk, all of that equipment saves with you. So when you log back in, you're going to have all this stuff in your inventory. So I'd say about 95% of the items that you get in the game are that. They will auto load with you. Let's take a look. By the way, I was talking earlier about the medic skill. Right? So medic, let's take a look at my drinks that I just bought in this video. And I'm going to look at, I can either type pale ale, or if it's an alcoholic drink, I can just type look alcohol. Or I can also say look drink. Every drink, regardless of the type, will have a built-in alias of drink. But if it's an alcoholic drink, you can just type look alcohol, and it's going to ignore any caffeine that you have, and it can ignore any of the honey mead that you have. Okay, so and it tells you, okay, this is a strength 50. And this is okay. Here's how you consume it. You type drink pale ale or drink alcohol. Now in this case, my character, this test character, is really low medic skill. So he doesn't see any bonuses here. But let's take a look at my admin. Okay, so I have I have these various drinks. So here's Down with Gray, Down with Steve. These are a couple of the drinks that you can get in the game. And then I have food. And I also have this drink called Jolt. Let's take a look at that. Okay. I have on my admin, I've got a really high medic skill. And so while this drink will heal me 150 points of hit points immediately, as soon as I drink it, I'm going to get a bonus, and I'm going to get an additional 20. So when I drink this thing, I'm actually going to get healed 170. So that's how you interpret this. Again, it's just based on, it basically takes your medic skill, and there's math that's done. And so in this case, my medic skill is 200, which is quite high. And looks like here it's dividing it by 10. So every multiple of 10 for your medic skill, you get the +1 bonus to the healing. Same thing happens for food. So I have, if I were to type it correctly, I have a couple of edible pieces of food. So I've got these raspberries. Well, that one will heal me 30. But because of my medic skill, I get another 20. So this thing, when I eat this raspberry, I'm gonna, if I am suffering and I'm low on hit points, I'm gonna get 50. So medic skill is a good thing to have. So anyway, you know your bonus just by, so I've just described the math. The equations can change over time. So if you are watching this video and then you play the game 6 months from now, the formula may be a little bit different. So what we do is that the game evolves. We make little tweaks based on how people are playing, based on feedback that we get from the players, and we determine, if we have a game imbalance issue. So if we determine that this medic bonus is too high, we're going to change it. Now, my medic skill is very high because I am a Tech A. And I need to hide that. I don't want people trying to, my Archer code has already been consumed, so don't try the Archer code that you just saw. That's this guy. But yeah, so my admin is a really high level. He's level capped, so he's at the level cap, and he's got the best technician rank available, and so because of his rank, he has a very high maximum possibility for his medic skill and a couple other things. Like he's really good at farming, he's really good at repair and inspection. Basically, except for mining. Mining has its own pool, so that's the miner rank class. But everything else here in the occupational skill settings, all these, the maximums that you have available will be determined by your rank. For tech, in this case, mining is impacted by a rank for mining. These combat skills and weapon skills, that's, let's take a look at our guy here, right? That's merc for mercenary, okay? So as you're in combat and you kill stuff, and again, that's one of the reasons why we show number of kills. So when you get a certain number of kills, your merc, let's see, I just got a reward. So I just got my hourly loyalty reward. In this case, I got some ore. And by the way, Core has a number of quests that are acquisition quests. In this case, I need to loot or be awarded with 11 more ores, and I complete this particular acquisition quest, and I'm going to get some bonus. I'm going to get some experience points because of that. By the way, the tutorial does cover what I'm about to show you now. Anywhere in the game, you type the word quests and hit enter, and it shows you what you have. So these are the quests that you have assigned to you right now. You acquire quests, some of the quests, many of the quests, I'd say probably 90 to 95% of the quests are just given to you automatically. You meet certain conditions, and you get a little message saying you've got a new quest, or you advanced progress in a quest, and you get this little message that you just see right here. Task update. Okay, so the numbers are arbitrary because the quests are sorted alphabetically. So when I solve one of these quests, that quest goes away. Basically, it's like a quest journal. Lots of games have quest journals. Core has the same thing. So you just saw me get an update to the quest called Ore Looter. And so you can see here, this is currently my quest number 3. Down at the bottom, it says you can type quests and then the number to get more information about the step of the quest that you're on right now. So let's do that. And again, the newbie quest does teach you this. Quests, and then I type number 3. And each quest will have a little description talking about the task that you're currently working on. And in this particular one, it's an acquisition quest. So I have to acquire, and here it says 11, right? Just what we saw on the screen here. Acquire 11 more. So we have quests that are combat. Say, for example, Roach Stomper. Where's Roach Stomper? Here we go. Number 1. Roach Stomper is an achievement quest. And, right, there'll be a title. There'll be a little description. The vast majority of these I wrote. There are a few quests that other coders on the game created, and they wrote their descriptions, but I added a ton of them this year in 2021. And so I added a bunch of these achievement style quests, and this is an example of one of them that I added earlier this year. So there are roaches that spawn in certain rooms. You find one, you kill it, and it'll, what's the word I'm looking for? Decrement. That's pretty good. I could actually say that when I'm drunk. So it will decrement the count when I get down to 0. In this particular case, it will complete the quest. This particular quest has a single step. We're pretty proud of this quest interface. This is something that, again, is one of the ones that we created custom for Core. We wrote it from scratch. And I have a whole interface that I use to manage it. This particular one only took me about 5 minutes to set up because there's a tool that I use. It's all menu based, super easy to create a quest. As long as the item that has to be acquired or the monster that has to be slain exists. So as long as the item exists, I tell the quest tool, here's what I want. Here's what I want for the step. I name the quest. I name the task. I use a little in-game editor to write out the instructions. And if it's an acquisition, or in this case, a kill quest, I tell it the count. And then I say, here's the target. I want you to kill this particular monster so many times, or I want, I want the player to acquire so many of these things, like the ore. Here's another one, shields up. This is another one. It's automatically given to you. The first time that you acquire a shield generator, boom, it triggers the quest. Quest gets added to your journal. And some of these now have really high counts because they're not meant. In fact, a lot of these acquisition and killing quests, they are not meant to be done in a single playing session. You can see this one. This one is meant to be completed over time. And so this is something gives you a goal that you can strive for. So in this case, I need to, and again, it's kind of, to my eyes, this is kind of hard to read. I have a hard time reading this red on black. But it looks like it says I need 86. This particular character needs 86 more shield generators. So this particular one is meant to be completed over playing the game for months. Okay, so some of these things, again, because they are acquisition based, the counts get high. Tipsy Miner actually is a chained quest. So I basically drink something and it increments the count. And once I complete this, I'll get a follow-up quest the next time that I drink something. And then instead of Tipsy Miner, it'll be Drunken Miner. So let's take a look, by the way. Okay, so this is a command for me. So the other coders have it, players don't have this. So this shows me from, you can think of it as a database, every single quests that is part of our quest tool. And when there is a asterisk here, that means the quest is enabled. So there's a couple here like Save the Ancient Ark. No one's completed creating that particular quest, so the quest is not enabled. So quest author, in this case this is authored by somebody else. They complete going through the tool, they create the quest, they send it over to me, I review it, and if I approve, then I will enable it, and then it immediately becomes available in the game. So let's take a look at Rat Slayer as an example. So I'm pretty proud of this system, so I do want to show you. So Rat Slayer is a quest that not everybody knows about. It's something that there's hints in the game that this quest exists, but I actually have to tell newbies, and this is mentioned in the 1-hour tutorial video. And this, by the way, I think this video is probably going to exceed 1 hour because I've been rambling. I am not following the script. I'm just doing this totally as a cuff, off the cuff, as you can probably tell. Off the cuff. Did I just say off the cup? Probably because I'm thinking about my vodka. Okay. I'm not going to show you Sewer Hunt. So there's some of these things that oh, Alec, you haven't, unless you participated. We did Core. One of the things that we did for the first time this year. Core sponsored the text game achievements for the annual security conference called DEF CON. DEFCON. You can look it up online. They have their own Discord channel. And we sponsored the MUD. So we were the quote-unquote DEF CON MUD for 2021. And so a number of these quests that you see in my list here are actually related to that event. So I did this one just to mess with Steve. Let's take a look. So this one, the area for the DEF CON people, that area is now closed off. We'll reopen it next year when the time comes. So as a coder, I'm gonna peel back the covers. So you're gonna see something that a player has never seen before. Okay. Any quest, I can type quest check and then the name of the quest. Well, it doesn't have to be case sensitive for me. I just have to type it out with the punctuation if there's punctuation. Okay. So this one here, I actually, this is a chained quest. So it depends on, the person has to first complete another quest before this one becomes available. And what will happen is that they enter a certain room. That room will invoke code. It will check to see if they have, basically it will invoke the code, and if the quest system knows that the player completed this prerequisite, then they get the new thing. And then, so there'll be initial trigger. So in some cases, the initial trigger will be just entering a room. In some cases, it's killing a particular monster or particular race for a monster for the very first time, like rats or alligators and other types of things. And then once the quest is triggered, it gets added to the player's quest list, like you just saw me do on my test character where I typed quests. So once I achieve the initial trigger, it gets added to my list. The player gets an immediate notification that, hey, you have a new quest that's just been given to you. And then they can type quests in the new, whatever that number happens to be. And then they can see the instructions for the task. In this particular one, once this, Steve is a real flamer. And again, I mess with this guy all the time. When this thing gets triggered, the person sees, hey, you got a new quest called Steve Real Flamer, it'll be displayed in its proper case. So this is what the player will see. They'll see new quest. It'll say Steve Real Flamer, and it will put the task, the name of the next task that they have to do to either advance or complete the quest. In this particular one, put out the flames and cuss out Steve. So there's an area in this particular DEF CON region where there are fires. You put out the fire, you go find the NPC for Steve, you cuss at him, and you complete the quest. And each quest is assigned a target level. And it doesn't, if you're below this level, it does not prevent you from trying the quest. What the level does is it impacts the reward. So the level assigned to the quest will dictate the experience points that you receive as the reward for completing the quest. So every quest has a reward associated with it, and that reward is basically the level. Okay? Tells me the quest is enabled, tells me who made it. Well, hello, that's me. So you can see here, and the tool allows me at any time, I can go in and I can edit any of these steps. So often I will commit a typo. I'll typically save the task in like a notepad as I'm working on editing the quest. And if I see, oops, I have a problem, I'll just go and say, oops, I need to change task number 2. And then the tool will prompt me for what do you want to change? You want to change the name? Do you want to change the description? You want to change a count for this particular one? This one says there's code that will have to be invoked to complete the quest. And so that means I, as the coder, need to create whatever that code is, and then I, at the completion of that code, based on the criteria I've determined, then I invoke this call. This is okay. Finish off the task number 2, right? And that invokes the that tells the quest system, okay, this person has completed task number 2. And when you complete the final task, boom, the quest is immediately marked as completed, and you immediately get the reward. So you don't have to, the player doesn't have to do anything to claim the reward. It just happens. It just happens automatically. Let's take a look at Rat Slayer. So Rat Slayer, which I'm about to show you a part of it. Again, the 1-hour walkthrough video does talk about it, and I actually demonstrate how to actually solve the quest. So most of the time, these quests, we don't give out quest hints other than what's in the tool. So what the player sees when they use the quest command. We have a rule on core that there's really a handful, like the newbie quests, the tutorials and so on. Yeah, we'll tell you, hey, if you want to do this quest, go here, it'll trigger, and here's what you need to do to complete it if you can't understand the instructions. So the documented immigrant quest, that is the newbie quest that I talk about and I go over in detail in the 1-hour video. So this is the one that teaches the player how to play the game. The basics, how to move, how to talk, how to use the channels, how to buy stuff, gives you the credits to buy that stuff, and how to equip it. All of that is in that documented immigrant quest. And it takes you, if you're a fast reader, you'll get through in about 20 minutes. If you want to take your time, it'll take you 30. But I highly recommend, if you're brand new to core, you want to go ahead and do that. Okay, so let's do quest check Rat Slayer. Okay, this one has 4 steps. So the first step is you go to the Starport clinic and this guy called Dr. Ivu, he every 15 to 30 seconds he complains. So he actually says stuff, and one of the things that he says is that, cursed rats, cursed rats. These rats messed up all my research. So you talk to him and you say, well, what about the rats? You just have to say the word rats. And this is, hey, he knows if you've done this quest or not. So if he knows that you have not completed this quest, you haven't started the quest, he says, hey, I have a job for you. He says that out loud or in text. I could probably voice him. I might do that sometime. I might voice him. So he says, hey, I have a job for you. And that's a keyword. He's listening for you to actually say the word job. And the quest system has this capability built in. So the quest system, I can actually specify that you say a keyword or a phrase, and that will either trigger the quest or it will advance the quest. So that we built that into the quest tool. By we, I say me. This is all came out of my brain. So this is okay. So once you say job, he gives you the quest. That's the initial trigger. Super easy. So those of you watching, Alec, I think you've done this. But you basically say job, and we tell people, if I see a newbie come in, I know what quests that they've done, and I know what they haven't even started. So I have a command where I can see everybody who's logged in and what quests are in their quest journal, if you will. And I can query the player and I can see, okay, what quests have they actually completed? So if I see somebody has not started this Rat Slayer quest, and I see they're, level 1 through 4, it's appropriate for them to do this quest because this teaches combat and it teaches in a very important mechanic of the game. And again, in the tutorial video that I have that's about an hour long, I go over into why this mechanic is important for you to learn because of this. Because of this right here. So there are a few quests in the game where there are exits or ways to advance the quests that are not obvious. In this case, there's a hidden exit in this particular area. And you have to carefully look at the room's description. And within the room, there may be items. They're not sitting on the floor, but the items are mentioned in the room's description. And in some cases, if the person who created the area did it smart, they can actually reference the it's a virtual item, okay? So it's not a physical thing that anybody has to code. So one of the things that you get when you buy a personal mining dome, you get your own builder area out of the box for free. And you can make anything you can imagine as long as it fits in Core's sci-fi theme. So you can make an area, you can make monsters and NPCs for that area, you can stock the area, you have a coder review it, and if it passes approval, the area gets installed somewhere in the game, and now other players can enjoy the content that you just created, and you get a reward as the builder. Again, that's probably going to be another video. But here it's saying you have to read in this particular one, and we have, off the top of my head, we have like at least two quests that utilize this mechanic, other than this Rat Slayer quest. So one of the most notorious quests we have is called Sewer Hunt. You tackle that when you're around between levels 6 to 8. And then the other one is called Payroll Mystery, which is what I wrote. You tackle that when you're level 16, and you will hate me. You will hate me. And I take great pleasure in your tears. I take it, and I will, if I see you're working on my quest, I'm going to tease you, and I'm going to misdirect you, and and I'm going to say, oh, I might even watch what you're doing and tease you and say, oh, you need to go look at this item, and I'm doing it to misdirect you because I like to fuck with people. So, anyway, so those two, sewer quest, payroll mystery, and there are a few others, but these are the main two that will utilize this mechanic that the Rat Slayer quest is trying to teach you. It's trying to teach you that you need to look at room descriptions carefully. And when the room description mentions an item in the room description, you can look at that item and sometimes you'll get a clue. So this particular one, there is this non-obvious exit. So this here says hidden section. It's an exit that's not obvious. So you can either go to every single room, you can try all 8 cardinal directions and maybe you'll get lucky, or you look at what you're supposed to do. What this quest is trying to teach you is you read the descriptions carefully. You look at the things mentioned within the text of the description, and you will uncover, one of them will help you uncover where that hidden exit is. Okay, in any case, so you have to kill 4 of these rats that are hidden away in the secret section, and then you kill the queen, and you either say to finish the quest, you either say the word queen, or you just go to the clinic and you have the queen's corpse in your inventory, you process it. It'll say, Gray has processed the corpse of queen, and boom. Ivy will know that you're working on the quest. Ivy knows that you have completed the prior tasks. He will know, so you can see this is a chain, right? You kill 4 generic rats within this particular area. Then you kill 1 of the queen. You go back, you either say the word queen or you just process the corpse, and boom, it will complete the quest. And then you get a quest level that is tailored for level 2. So that's how our quest tool works. It's pretty cool. So let's talk about combat. So I need to demonstrate that. So again, a regular player will not know, they will not see all these details. They will only see the details for the one task that they're on, and they will not see this back-end code. So a regular player is not going to know the name of the file. That's for my reference or for the reference of the person who's creating the quest. And that's why when somebody says, hey, I'm stuck on this quest, I think the quest is broken, I say, well, what quest? What's the name of the quest? They'll say, oh, I'm working on Rat Slayer. Okay. And then I can, from my side, again, this is a coder command. I can look at everybody who's logged in, and I can see what quests they have and what tasks that they have. So let's take a look at, like, myself. My admin is Gray. I can see I need to acquire, so I'm on task number 2 for this quest. I need to get more energy bars. I need to kill more zombies. The fun house is closed off. That's the DEF CON special area. I need to acquire more Liaison cartridges, and that's something you can loot in combat or you can buy from a weapons store. And then there's this other quest that I really haven't started. Again, this is one of the ones where you enter a particular room and then boom, the quest gets triggered. Let's take a look at this XX guy. This is my test character that I've been playing tonight for this video. So I see what he has. And again, what the character sees is they see this. So they can see the names of the quests that they have. Now the person the player, does not see the task number. They just see the instructions and they see the title, and they see, in the case if there's a count, they can see what they have left to do. Only a coder can see this stuff, where they can see the task number. So if somebody says, hey, I'm stuck on Rat Slayer, I think it's broken. Well, first of all, I'm going to tease them because that quest hasn't been altered for years. It works. Many people have completed it. So I know the quest is functional. So there's a handful of quests in the game that could use a little TLC, but all the starting quests, all the ones that are kind of newbie related, all of them work. So anyway, let's talk about combat. And this is the command I want to teach you. So I'm back on our test character XX. So you saw me buy a new piece of armor. Did I wear it? No. Okay. So we have our mining hat worn. Now you can see my head, because earlier in this video you saw me slot a shield generator. Now that particular limb has 2 kinetic protection. So let's talk, and I promised I would talk about this, so let's talk about it, because again, this is not mentioned in the newbie tutorial, because everything that I'm covering tonight, the vast majority of this stuff, you're not going to get in your first playing session. Your first playing session, you're just doing the newbie tutorial, you're trying to learn what core is. You know, you're learning about our world, you're learning about the world's culture, you're getting to know the basic commands. So the stuff that I'm showing you is, some of it's kind of advanced. These kinetic, plasma, and ion are damage mitigation. So when you are level 1 through 19, the vast majority of monsters that you're fighting in NPCs, they do kinetic damage. So when you're at that particular level range, just focus on kinetic. The plasma and ion you don't care about yet. Plasma. Plasma damage, you're going to start getting plasma damage dealt against you when you're fighting stuff that's level 20 and higher. Plasma damage is more effective against biological opponents. And you, as a player, you are a biological opponent to whatever you're attacking. So when you're being attacked, now the game doesn't tell you, oh, it doesn't like give you, it doesn't break out the damage report. So it just says you got hit by so and so for X number of hit point damage. It doesn't say, oh, they did so much kinetic, so much plasma, so much ion. But just know that when you start hitting level 20 and higher, you need to start focusing on plasma, shield generators, and kinetic and ion. Kinetic, while important, you're going to be getting a lot of plasma dealt against you. Okay? And you want your weapons, whenever you can, even if you're below level 20, if you can get plasma modifiers for your weapons, you want to get them and you want to slot them. Your weapon upgrades, you can swap them out. So you don't necessarily have to buy a new weapon to slot it. So you can swap them out. You can swap them out in the field. You do not have to be at a shop to swap out your upgrades. That's an advanced topic, and that's probably something, again, for another video. Ion is effective against droids. So droids are weak against ion. Plasma, droids really don't care. And then, of course, kinetic is like the damage that Goldilocks likes. So kinetic is kind of like a default damage type that is essentially, there's no pluses or minuses to it. So kinetic damage is going to apply equally to any type of enemy regardless if they're biological or if they're a droid. So for you as a player, you want plasma when you're going against on your weapons. You have plasma slotted if you can get it. And then if you're in an area that's stocked with droids, you want your weapons slotted with ion. I don't recall if droids use ion weapons. Some of them do, I believe. So, I mean, having some ion is helpful. Let's take a look at my admin. Okay. So my admin has kind of right now high level gear. Right now AC 12 is the highest that we have of possible. I am looking into bumping that up because we this year we have increased the level cap. So these shield generators are a way to kind of make up for the gap. So a shield generator will improve your equipment, and so that basically stacks with your AC. So if I get hit by kinetic damage, this 54 kinetic will mitigate kinetic damage if I'm dealt with kinetic damage, and of course the armor class. Although we are the opposite from Dungeons and Dragons in this regard, the higher the AC, the better. So we're not using the golf system. We're not using the D&D system, like D&D 3rd edition. We're not doing that. So in D&D 3rd edition, for example, the lower the AC, the better. Sorry, I have it's my headset cord keeps touching the touchpad. Okay. So in core, the higher the AC, the better. The higher the weapon class, the better. And then the higher these mitigation factors, the better. So you want to max out these numbers as best you can. And again, the stuff stacks. So I have multiple things that protect my torso. So my kinetic mitigator would be the combination of anything I'm wearing aside from a cloak that protects my torso. Now these limbs look a little weird for our regular players. I have a different race that I created for myself so that I can test combat and not die. In core, and I think I might have mentioned this in another video, our coders, including the admins like myself and Steve and Nigel, those are the 3 admins, we can die. So unlike some other muds that are out there, we are mortal. So I can die in combat. So it's important for me to make sure I have good equipment because I can die, and when I die, everybody sees. So, and it's embarrassing for me as an admin. You know, people are like, "Wait a minute, you just died? You're not immortal?" No, I'm not immortal. I die just like a regular player does. So, and Steve does, and Nigel does, and our other coders. We're all mortal. So there's no special accommodation for coders in this game in terms of combat and death. The rules that apply to a regular player apply equally to us. And I instituted that rule deliberately because I wanted players to know that I'm not, coders obviously have very special capabilities. So I can teleport, I can make money for myself out of thin air, I can make items for myself, I can do all kinds of crazy things. And it's my game, I get to do that. Sue me, right? So that being said, there are certain things that that whatever applies to a player also applies to a staff member. So, and death is one of those things. So let's talk about the consider command, because that is an extremely important command for you to know about. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the shop area, okay? And I'm going to go to Starport Hallway, where this mine recruiter guy is, and there is a western door leading into Shea Park. This is a memorial I created for my mom after she passed away, and Core has a instance system. So some years ago, I created the capability for coders to create instance areas. So here, this is okay. You just tried to go west, but it is an instance area, and you get your own unique copy of it, just like in a modern MMO, right? So you're playing, World of Warcraft. You're playing Star Wars: The Old Republic, other types of, multiplayer games, where you want to go into an adventure area, and you want your own unique copy of it, so that some other player doesn't come in and steal the kills from you, right? So we have that. And so when you try to enter an instance area, you will get this. Okay, so every instance area, when you try to enter it, you're going to get this text. And we type list. The person who created the instance area, they will pick and choose how many copies are available, and they're going to they're going to instruct the system as to, is it going to be solo only, or can multiple players be inside the same instance in the same time? So for example, we do have a party system and we have a guild system. So we have areas that are instanced, and they allow multiple players to be in the same instance number at the same time. So this particular sentence here tells you if it's solo or if it's multiplayer. So this one obviously is solo. Let's go inside. So we just type the word join and then the instance number, and it's going to tell you if there's anybody inside, in this case empty, or it's going to give you a count, like so many players are in this particular instance. So I'm going to join instance number 1. They're all the same. So 1 through 20, they're all the same. It does not matter in this particular case which one I picked. So I've now just claimed instance number 1. So if another player comes along and they want to enter Shea Park, they are not going to be able to enter the instance I'm in because it's a solo instance. Okay, so our monsters are color coded. So when you see, again, if you're not colorblind, or if you're not blind, you're going to see it listed in a color code. Green means your level is higher than that particular monster. So you don't have to use the consider command. You can just, if you want to, you can just go ahead and attack. So if I look at this guy, this mosquito, if I were to type it correctly. Okay, and I need to make this case insensitive, I think. All right. So I mentioned earlier tonight that there's a loot table. So when you kill something, there's a chance to get some loot, and you don't actually see the loot when you look at the monster while it's alive. So you have to kill it, and then once it dies, then the loot table will kick in. Did I say cable? Oh my god. Then the loot table will kick in, and there are certain types of things that will have a random chance that will be spawned and moved to the monster's corpse. I have no idea if I'm going to get anything from this mosquito or not. I'm going to get a little bit of experience. And by the way, I need to teach this command. So you might remember that I showed you earlier tonight this command list. And one of the pieces of statistical information is called info. Info, by the again, I said anything in this online help you see listed in green, And if you look at it on the web, it would be shown as hyperlinks. If you type help and then the name of that command that's in green, you get more information. So now it basically says that when you're in game and you see it in green in the help system, it means you can type help, the name of that command or topic, and it's going to give you a separate article specifically about that one topic. So info is an abbreviated score. And unlike the score command that is an entire page, and you saw me use this multiple times in tonight's video, you can type info and get an abbreviated score for the things that you care about on a single line. So this is an extremely useful, helpful command. And you can specify what you want to see. If you type nothing other than just info, you're going to get the basic stuff. You're going to get your hit points, your stamina points, and your experience. Current experience and experience you need for the next level. But you can customize it. I can type, I want to see just my experience. I want to see my weight capacity and my money. Now I just get that stuff. And so what some players do, we have a built-in alias system, and this is not covered in the tutorial because this is an advanced topic. When you're using a client like Mudlet, you can create your own aliases. So you can create a button, or you can create your own alias, and you can, what some people do is that when they go mining, they'll create a button, or they'll just assign it to a keyboard shortcut. Like some people will just create an alias where they just hit the F1 key, and the F1 key will send the command to the game that will tell it to mine. So, because people don't like typing drill or, which is the command to drill. Some people don't like to type all that. So you can assign it to a button or to a keystroke, like one of your function keys, and that's extremely handy. But the game also has an in-game alias system. And you type the word alias all by itself, and it lists for you the aliases that you have. And what you see in my screen are the aliases that every new player gets out of the box in the game, regardless of whatever client you're using. Game doesn't care. So these things that you see on my screen are the built-in aliases that you get right out of the box. So you get your basic movement commands, north, west, southwest, blah, blah, blah. You get the inventory command where you can type I all by itself. It shows you everything. Or you specify a word, which is this $asterisk. It basically is okay, take whatever word or phrase is added to the end and pass it to the command. EXA is another alias for look. Look is alias is L. Bio for biography. So there's a couple basic things, right? You can make your own stuff, and you just type help alias, and you can make whatever alias you want. The game doesn't care. So you just, like what I do on my admin is I've got some where I've got one to turn on screen reader mode, which is what our blind people use. So set ENV screen reader on or off. We'll kind of flip your interface, and so when your screen reader mode is on, and we don't have a tutorial for that, we posted about it on the blind gamer forum called, what is it called? Audio. It's like audio games. I'd have to go look at it. I've got it bookmarked. But we have a thread that's specifically about core, and we talk about everything that we've done to help the blind community. And they do appreciate it. And we do have some blind players that are active. We have a number of folks that use screen reader software to read the game back to them. And so we created the screen reader mode that takes output, that's tabular, and it converts it to text that is suitable for being read back through a screen reader. And I can specify a category, and I only get that in the screen reader mode. So the people who use screen reader mode don't like a lot of stuff read back to them. They want very specific information. A sighted person, a sighted person types score, and a sighted person sees all this stuff on a single screen, and they can quickly identify the piece of information that they want. This particular output is not suitable for a screen reader person, because screen reader software, they don't like all these repeated ASCII art, if you will. Some things are like dots and all this, and it's painful. And when I spoke with a number of screen reader users, they educated me, and they told me, could you please change this command so that it works like this? And so we did that for them, and some of it was easy, and some of it took a few hours for certain commands, but it was worth it. It was worth the effort. So anyway, I'm going to first do this. I'm going to kill this guy. So I'm going to attack. So the tutorial itself doesn't teach you how to do combat. The tutorial video that I did does explain it. I demonstrate what I'm going to show you right now. This is mentioned in help command list about here's how you attack. When you are a newbie, combat will take a while, right? So because you just don't have skills. And so you can see what you're seeing here is it's saying there's a message in red for what the critter is doing against you, and then the green is what you did against the critter. And if you take damage, you will see a little update saying, okay, you took some, in my case, hit point damage. Now, in this particular battle, because I was fighting something that was essentially a level 1 critter, I didn't get much. I only got 24 experience points because this critter is level 1 and I am level 4 on this particular character. The greater the differential between you and what you just killed will impact your experience reward. And when you punch down too low, and I believe it's like, I want to say 5 levels, when the differential between you and what you just killed is greater than 5, like if you're level 6 and you're fighting a level 1, you get a big fat 0 in terms of your experience reward, because at that differential, there's just no risk. There's no risk to you. If there's no risk, there's no reward. That's just how the game works. Let's take a look. Now we have a corpse. Let's take a look to see. Okay, there's nothing there. Okay, so you examine the corpse by looking at it. If there's any loot, it will show up when you look at the corpse. So let's just go ahead. Okay, this one has a different color. So the mosquito that I fought, when we entered the room, it was in this kind of a light green. Well, this one here is bright green. So what's the difference? So the command consider gives you, in English, because we don't actually show the actual numbers. So we try to mask some of the numbers. Some of the commands we have will give you the actual numbers. But in some cases, we're not going to say, oh, this guy has dexterity 5 and a strength of 4 and a constitution of 5. It gives it to you in words. So here it's saying, okay, he is strong. He has a higher strength statistic than I have. but his combat skills are worse than what I have, and his dexterity is worse than what I have, and his strength is worse than what I have. And this guy is not wielding any equipment, so he's going to be fighting me with melee. I'm fighting him with my weapon, and I am wielding it. Yes. Yes, I have my gun. My gun is wielded. So, this one will be a little bit different. I might get a slightly better experience reward because, again, you saw that the color for him was different. And, yeah, I got slightly more experience points than the previous fight. You can also see just now, because he attacked me, he needed some, a little bit of damage against me, not much. I got a point in my defense skill. So now my defense is now one higher than it was at the beginning of the game, at the beginning of the video. So when I showed you the skills command earlier in the video, it was 5 out of 10. Now it's 6 out of 10. So there is this command called duchy. It's kind of a fun little history on this one. And again, I'm drinking, so I'm just going to ramble. Duchy was one of our original players. She eventually became a coder. And I actually met her and her husband in person once, and it was really cool. They were making a trip out to the state that I lived in at the time, and they let me know. Said, "Hey, hey Gray, we're going to be in town," and I'm like, "Come on over." And so we had a fun night, and I can't remember. We talked about the game. We talked about other stuff, and it was just cool just to meet some real life players in real life. But it was funny because before she became a coder, and she was just kind of starting out as a player. She was doing mining. I think it was mining is what she was doing, and she commented that, I've been doing all this mining and I'm not getting any skill points. And I run my little coder command. I'm like, yeah, you are. You're getting credit towards progress through your skill. She's like, no, I'm not. I'm like, yeah, you are. No, I'm not. So, okay, I'm going to prove it to you. So I made it a command called, and I named it after her to kind of yank her chain a little bit. I said, okay, type duchy and the name of the skill, like duchy attack as an example. And it says, okay, watch this meter grow. You see another X added to this thing. You just got another percentage point. Again, it doesn't give you the numbers. It does say, okay, here's your current skill level. Here's the maximum for your current player level. And based on the rank that you have, in this case, this is a Merc skill. So if I stay at Merc C, then the maximum that I can possibly do when my character is level capped, then this is the absolute maximum that particular skill can go. Now, I will eventually hit Merc B, and then that absolute maximum that you see, that goes up, because that's determined by your rank. Okay? So let's take a look at the corpse. Okay. Or is one of the things that you can get in the loot table. Now, you can either type get or from corpse. Why do you want to do that? Right? That's the way it used to be for years and years and years. A couple years back, I added a command called loot. And anything that is a useful item for you will be picked up all in one shot. So you don't have to tell it which corpse to loot, because there may be some rooms that have multiple corpses, because there may be multiple monsters that you just killed. And this will do, I can't remember the number, let's say 4. I think it'll check 4 corpses all in one go. It checks all the usable items all in one go. You type loot, and it transfers everything of value into your inventory immediately. It's a very convenient command to know about. So that is something that some people didn't realize. Oh, here's a roach. I need to kill a roach. Now, take a look. Again, if you can see color, notice that the roach, and by the way, I have a quest. I have to kill roaches. Right? I got this I don't have achievement roach stomper, which we talked about earlier in the video. I need to kill 9 more. Now, notice that in the rooms inventory, roach is in red. That's a special indicator this creature is either higher than me or it's an elite. Let's use the consider command. Let's first look at this iguana. Right, you saw me use consider just a few minutes ago. Okay, so this one, top shape just is an indicator of are they at full health, or because as you fight something, you can use consider again, and it'll give you an indicator that okay, he's hurting, slightly damaged, severely hurting, almost dead, kind of stuff. Now let's consider this roach that's in red. Anything that's in red, you need to consider. Okay. Now, initially, so yeah, this should be really easy. But look at this last bit. When it says that they have a title, it means this is an elite. And it specifically says when you attack this thing, their level, it doesn't say level, but that's one of the things that changes. The level will change based according to the title. So this is in this would be cannon fighter would be like an elite -3. So this thing spawns into the room. In this particular room, it spawned in as a level 1. But as soon as I attack it, it's going to look at my level, and it's going to inflate the creature according to the elite setting. So there's an elite -5 through elite +5. Most creatures will be an elite -1 or -2. The stuff that's really tough is going to be an elite +1. And the hard stuff is going to be an elite +2. And we have just a handful of critters in the game that are elite +3. And those are tough fights. Let's kill this roach. So I'm going to kill it. Okay. It immediately inflated. Okay. So the roach inflated. Now, because it's a elite -3 and I'm a level 4, it really didn't inflate, right? Because 4 - 3 is 1, so it didn't really change. But I did get credit for completing. I had progress in the task. So you might remember earlier in the video, I showed you I had to kill 9. Now I have to kill 8. So it says kill 8 more. And if I check it this way, it tells me the same number. Okay, let's look at the corpse. Okay, it's got some more loot that stuff. Okay, perfect. When you loot ore, the type and the number of units is randomized. So you're going to get, like, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units of ore. And then the type of ore is randomized, and different ore types have different value. And it goes to your satchel. So when I looted this thing, it went to my ore satchel. Hello. So when you mine or you loot ore, it goes to your satchel. That does not change your weight encumbrance. So the satchel is essentially weightless. So it does not matter if I have 50 units of ore or 200. My carrying capacity is not changed. So It's going to sit in the ore in the satchel until I go to the mine foreman and I clock out, and then I get paid based on the value of each type of ore according to the in-game stock market and the number of units for each. Okay, let's keep going. West. Okay, so this is a special room that's mentioned in the other video. So the Rat Slayer quest, and you find this room that's got the rattlesnake. Again, a lot of these rooms have things mentioned in the description, and some of these things you can look at. And notice here, this particular room talks about the walls in a corner. The other rooms don't have this type of description. There's something special going on here. So I can look at the walls. And okay, so the person who created this area, is me, decided to, mention something in the description, and that thing you can look at. Okay, it talks about the west and south walls are painted. Okay, illusion of a desert landscape. The west wall is flawless. The south wall, though, has some oddly painted cacti that block a portion of the artificial horizon. Okay, this is the important key here. The south wall, there's something going on here. You can look at the south wall. Okay, so that's another virtual item. It's not on the floor, but it's something that the creator of this area put in this particular room, decided to describe the south wall. And this is, oh, by the way, the cacti painted on the eastern portion of the south wall almost resembles a sort of a doorway. So what we're talking about here, south wall, eastern portion of the south wall, which basically it's hinting that there's a southeast exit. So when I look, I don't see a southeast exit, but I can go there. Boom. I'm now in the secret area that's mentioned in the Rat Slayer quest, and people have struggled with this because they just didn't take the time to read the quest instructions. It says, oh, by the way, the rats that you need to kill are in a hidden area, and you need to look carefully at the room descriptions. Again, this is trying to teach you what you need to do later on in Sewer Hunt and Payroll Mystery. You look at the room, look at the items mentioned in the room, and in some rooms there's something special going on. Okay? So Rat Slayer, which I believe this character is already done. I believe I've done this one. Yeah. So this particular character has already completed the Rat Slayer quest. I think a player and type bio for biography. And it does say, oh, by the way, here's what you've completed. So this character's already done Rat Slayer, so I can't go and pick up that quest again. But since I'm allowed into the area, I can go ahead and I can kill these rats. Really doesn't matter. Let me just kind of quickly demonstrate the loot command when there are multiple corpses in the room. Okay, if you are using Mudlet, like I am, notice.
Kill the rabbit! Kill the rabbit! Kill the rabbit!
Oh, I forgot that. Okay. So this is a chain quest. So you complete Rat Slayer, and now you get this. So you kill another rat after you finish Rat Slayer, you get that new quest that you just saw that was given to me. New quest received. It names the quest, tells you what it is. It's this. I have to. I killed the first rat. That triggered the quest. Now I have to kill 19 more. Okay. So even though these things are like level 1, they're easy. But I still get a reward. So even though these things are level 1, the reward for an individual rat is the same. In this case, it's a level 1, I'm a level 4. It's worth 24 points. But now I have this quest to do, and when I finish the quest, I get a reward. So that the reward collectively will be better than the individual reward for each thing that I've slain. Okay, let's see if there's some stuff. Okay, if there's nothing there, it tells you this, right? So kind of keep going. You can see I've taken a little bit of hit point damage, and depending on my medic skill will impact how much hit point you will receive per cycle, per healing cycle. So I will eventually, if I do nothing, if I don't drink my drinks, I will eventually recover my hit points in full if I do nothing at all. But I can accelerate that by drinking my drink, which, again, I bought 6 of them earlier in this video. Or if I have a personal mining dome with a farming area that you have to buy it, or if you buy food from a player who has a farming area, because players, like I said, there's that transfer command where you can, transfer money to another player, and you can have a private exchange of, a person says, okay, I'll give you 10 raspberries, and I want to charge you 5 credits per raspberry. So give me 50 credits, I'll give you the 10 raspberries. So, so you can do private transactions like this. The game doesn't enforce it. The game doesn't have a, what do you call it, like an escrow system where the item that you want to buy from another player. Shops are different. So shops, you are buying from the shopkeeper and you immediately get the item that you ordered. Like you saw earlier in this video where I bought that mining hat. Okay. But if there's demand for it, so far, because we really have a really good player community. We don't have trolls. We don't have exploiters. So the people that stick around and play core, they're good people. I have not gotten a single complaint about anybody ripping off another player. So we had a couple of guys that came in. They were friends, probably college roommates or something, and there was a bug that they exploited, and they were a-holes about it. And we did an in-game arrest, put them in the in-game jail, and they cursed at us, and they rage quit, and there was a whole email exchange that happened between one of these exploiters and my co-admin Steve, and it's essentially both sides agreed that they're not coming back. So we do occasionally have people that don't belong here, and the game quickly weeds them out. And our community is really good. And like I said, I've not had to create any kind of escrow system for player-to-player transactions like the food that I was just talking about. Okay, here's the rat queen. So she is like you kill all these rats in Rat Slayer, and then the final task, well, second to last task, is you have to kill the queen, return to the doctor in the clinic, process the corpse, and then you get the quest reward. Let's consider the queen. Okay, so now she is. Remember the last elite that I considered, the roach, was a quote unquote cannon fodder. This one is an elite mini boss. So that means when she will inflate on me. Let's kill her. Let's consider her. Okay. So now her strength is higher than me. This is too tough for me. And she's stronger than me. So she's now She has the potential. If I did not have any kind of good equipment, that I would have had a problem. You can see I got more experience than everything you've seen me kill so far in this video. We can loot. Okay. And I'm going to take a corpse. And I'm going to take these corpses. And let's go back to the clinic. The tutorial really doesn't walk you through this. Notice I killed the mosquito before the room respawned. So the rooms will respawn every, I can't remember the exact interval. It's somewhere between 15 to 30 minutes. The respawn cycle happens. All right. Now I need to get back to that clinic because corpses do decompose. You see, here's Ivo talking about the rats. So he's giving you a clue, right? So if you're paying attention and you're watching what the NPCs are saying, sometimes they will tell you what they want to hear. So if I had not done the quest, I would have said, hey, what about the rats? I can type the keyword or I can put it in a sentence, doesn't matter. And he says, okay, I hate rats and I may have a little job for you. You type, okay, job. And he says, okay, because I completed the quest. He doesn't want to talk about that particular topic anymore. So I've got these corpses, and I also have a limb in my inventory. Looks like I have 2 limbs, and I have 5 rat corpses, and I have the corpse of the rat queen. In a clinic, when the droid or a player is tending, you can type process, and Soylent Green is going to happen. So you get a little reward for processing a corpse, and you get a lesser reward for processing a limb, a severed limb. So here you can see I processed 5 rats, 1 rat queen. They all count the same, regardless of the original level of the critter, does not matter. The owner of the shop will determine, what is the reward for a corpse and what is the reward for a limb. And if you type list in a clinic, it tells you. Here's the bounty. 50 credits for a corpse, 20 credits for a limb. And then how it works is limbs get thrown in a freezer so that if I lose a limb, I have to go to a clinic and get a new limb attached. So again, I said combat is limb based, and we have these shields that protect various limbs, and I can have my left foot severed if it takes too much damage. Now, at this point, you can see in my meters at the bottom of the screen that we have in Mudlet. We also have it, by the way, in our web-based client. So if you go to coremud.org, look at the top left-hand corner, there's a link to Mudlet, and there's also a link to the web client. That's a thin client, doesn't require anything locally to be installed. It's called Grapevine. It's not something we made. So somebody else hosts that, but we did integrate it with our meters. So if you play with Grapevine on the web, you get these meters. Okay. One of the meters is called limb health. So if I start, taking damage to particular limbs, this is the aggregate across all the limbs that I have. So right now I'm in perfect health. You notice here after fighting that queen, I've already healed up. What is not covered in the tutorial is the command called body. Gives you this stupid little ASCII art. Sorry about that. Shows I've got these 3 limbs, but it lists them. And in the screen reader mode, if you're a blind person, or if you are sight impaired, you can still. We have one or two folks that can still see, but they've told me they will eventually go fully blind. So I told them about the screen reader mode. I said, be prepared. I don't want you to go blind, but they basically said, Gray, I'm going to go blind at some point in my life. I will go blind, 100% blind. I can still see, but I use a screen reader because it helps me. I also blow up the font size. That helps me, but I will eventually go completely blind. They said, you need to know about the screen reader mode. And I had him try it, and he's like, hey, this is pretty cool. So if you are a blind person, obviously you're not able to see what I'm talking about. You're able to hear me, but you type SETENV, called set environment is what it's shorthand for. You type screen reader, and then you type the word on or off. And it says, okay, I'm now in screen reader mode. Let's try body again. Completely different output. No ASCII art, because again, screen readers, they don't read back ASCII art very well at all. So now we've formatted it. We took away dashes. You already saw me do score earlier. Skills is also simpler. Doesn't have all the dots and the dashes and all of this. It's all very much suitable for text-to-speech. Essentially what this is basically making it so that a text-to-speech software MUD client will be able to read the game back to the blind person, and it's going to sound much better than the default gaming experience. So the game defaults the screen reader off so that you get all of the, again, somebody who's fully sighted, they can see this and they can immediately pick out the piece of information that they want. But the screen reader, I spent this year in particular, I probably spent at least, and Steve assisted me. I think between the two of us, we easily put in 3 months of time on this. I think I put in 2 months of time. Steve put in 1 month of time. In aggregate, cumulative. We spent a lot of effort on this. And probably the last thing that I want to show, and then I'm going to end the recording because my throat's starting to get a little sore from all this talking. In our forum, which is one of the things that you see when you go to coremud.org, top left-hand corner, there's a link to our forum. And in the general discussion section of the forum, one of the threads we have is our change log. Every time we make a change to the central aspects of the game, we don't really talk about specific areas that much, unless it's somehow quest related or whatever. But when I or Steve make significant changes to code, we update our change log. And then about once a month, I will, depending on how much activity we have. So I actually posted, through, I want to say, I think I probably posted through maybe the November 23. So I posted, we have the change log goes back to when the game was relaunched back in December when we got the new server. And you can go to that thread and you will see this game is actively being maintained and actively being developed. So this is not a dead game. You can actually see, all these changes, what Steve did, what I did, it all goes to the change log. And then I take the change log, I post it to the forum, and I'll just redact things that are either quest related or things that divulge specific formulas. So certain things we log behind the scenes. every single piece of code, we have a history. So we maintain a running history of all the changes in every single piece of code that we have. And I am very, very meticulous about. I insist that this be done. I do not appreciate when people edit my code and they don't put in a comment. And I have found Steve doesn't do this, I don't do this, but people in the past who had admin access, they would make changes and they wouldn't document them. And I would actually have to stumble upon the change. And I'm like, who did this? When did it happen? And there's no comments. And I can't figure out who did it and when. And it just makes my, frankly, it makes me angry. So, because again, I created this game. Yeah, there's some code that we inherited. So, for example, if you go up this particular file, came with the base MUD library for this particular genre. So we kind of started the MUD from a library called Nightmare. So you can see this person, these people will. So we did have some stuff that we had out of the box. So you can see here, 1992 was the last time that the base user code was manipulated, and then I have edited the hell out of the thing. And same with weapons, same with armor, same with a lot of our commands. There's just a lot of modifications that have happened over the last 25 years. The game is not perfect. The game has its warts and its flaws, and there are things that need to be fixed. And this particular year, 2021, we put in a ton of effort to address those particular issues, to improve. Really, 2021, our number one focus between Steve and I is what Steve calls quality of life. It's basically improving the gaming experience. Steve and I talk about what it is that we want to do. Steve may make a proposal, and I'll say, yeah, go ahead and do it, or I'll help you with that, or I want to change that a little bit, or in some cases, I veto, because I have veto power, being the lead architect of the game. But the vast majority of the time, if somebody makes a proposal and it's well reasoned, and it doesn't violate the core sorry, if it doesn't violate the central tenets of the game, in other words, it doesn't violate the sci-fi theme, it doesn't appear to put the game out of balance, if it's something that we can explain to the player base and the players could understand the particular change or the thing that we're adding, I will, more often than not, I will approve it. And it's just a matter of, in some cases, Steve, again, he's my co-admin, he's made a number of suggestions, and I would think about it, might have a couple of drinks, and then I'll come back and I'll say, you know what, you made a good suggestion here. And for example, one of the suggestions he made is this thing that happens every hour with these loyalty rewards. Steve actually came up with that idea. Now, he just suggested credits. I expanded it to include ore and the shield generators, and I set the timing and what the formulas are. So that was something where, this is not really, I think this might be in the tutorial. You can see, let me get out of here. He's spamming the room. Okay. You can type who, and it shows you who's logged in right now. So this is not the entire player base. This is just who's logged in right now. I think the vast majority of mods have this capability. So everybody logged in, no matter where they are, their name, their title, their race, and their position. It is color-coded and is sorted by level. Players first, newbies, intermediate, senior players, and then coders. So we have 3 coders that are logged in right now. 2 of them are idle. That's this column right here. Finger gives you a lot better output, in my opinion. So this one here, same output. Now everything's sorted alphabetically by the person's name. With the, I don't know why. Oh, because, okay. This one's color coded. So the people who are using Mudlet or one of the other Mud clients that we integrate with, we color code them, and it tells us. So people who use a Mud client that Core understands and can talk to can send special codes like sounds, status bars in some cases, these meters. And we see everybody can see. You can see here. I'm logged in as my player, my test character, Axe. This is who I've been playing tonight. So you can see their race and the gender that they've chosen for themselves. And by the way, and I don't know that I've explained this very well, but gender has absolutely no impact on the gaming experience. So you can pick and play any gender you care about. There's 2 genders in Core, male and female. We're not doing the crap that Facebook does with the 65 genders that nobody understands. Male and female. You can change your gender whenever you want. So I added this about a week ago. So in this starport area, let's take a look real quick together. You leave this starport, and you get to this room, and you have this newbie terminal, which has some help information about the game on it. You can go up to the race change room. Let's go up there. You start, if you come in as Mudlet, you're gonna, for whatever reason, and I've talked to Steve about it, we need to fix it. He put in a change not too long ago where it actually bypasses the prompt for your gender. So, and then I changed the login system or the new character creation process a couple months back. So when you join the game for the very first time, you're going to be human, but you can change it. You can change it one time. So back in March of this year, I changed it. Well, actually, I take it back. Steve made this change. So one of the races we have is Nympho, and we got some of these Me Too people that bitched about it because the help file for Nympho explained every race has a help file. The help file for Nympho says at one time in the past, Nymphos were fun time slaves. Put it that way. I can't use the actual word. Fun time indentured servants. The help file specifically said that is no longer the case. They're free people. They make their own choices. They make their own decisions. But the Me Too people got really upset. They misread the file, the help file, and they thought that this particular race was still in today's fictional culture. They misunderstood the help file and they thought that this particular race is still endangered fun time people. And the help file said it in plain English. That is no longer the case. But they just bitched. And we have a log file where if somebody wants to leave the game forever and they want to destroy their character, it's called suicide. So they can suicide their character, which deletes their character permanently. And somebody used that command within the first 30 seconds of the game because they entered at the time, there was a room where you would pick your race. That was the first thing you had to do before you enter the game world and you get the newbie quest thrown at you. And in that race picking room, it had the information about each race. It told you about, you could type this help command and you could ask for help on each race that's available. Here it's actually telling us what's available to a new player. So people saw that, this person in particular, they saw this particular name. I don't even know if I can say it on as I think about it. I don't know if I could say it on YouTube and not get a strike on the channel. But they saw that in the list, they looked at the help file, and they rage quit. They used that command to delete their character. When you delete your character, there's a optional question. You can type whatever you want about, why are you leaving core? And we do check that. We do check it from time to time because it does, in some cases, gives us valuable feedback. In some cases, we saw that people had a real hard time understanding our parser. In some cases, people were stuck in the race change room and they didn't know what to do. They didn't know how to. One person couldn't read English very well, and I play mud all the time and I can't understand your parser. I don't know what to do. And the room description tells them what to do. Pick your race. Pick your race. You get into the game. And they couldn't even make it that far. And they just complained and rage quit. Now this other person I'm talking about, this Me Too person, they rage quit because even though I had modified the help file earlier this year, and I said, look, if you're a Me Too person, you got to understand this game world. Number one, the game is 25 years old, and we're not going to go back and change everything to accommodate modern cultural anomalies. I mean, this Me Too thing is temporary. It's going to go away. It was a response to some very bad abuses that were happening in real life against real people, executed by powerful men against women who were vulnerable, and completely understand why that movement was formed. And I'm in agreement that that behavior must stop in real life. But core not only is 25 years old at the time that the game was created, and for the first, the last 22 to 23 years, this movement didn't even exist. Now this movement comes about because of these abuses, and we're not going to look at that and go back and edit all of our code because there's this particular race that I have highlighted on my screen. There are NPCs that have this race. There's a casino dome in the game that is staffed by this particular race. Again, they are people that are looking to make a profit. They're working as a casino table. They run the casino tables. They may sell drinks, but they're not doing things that they don't want to do. So it's not like they're indentured fun time people. Okay. In fact, we don't even have that in the game anywhere. There are no, what's the word I'm trying to think of? The phrase, I'm trying to use a word that will not get the channel flagged. They're not ladies of the night. We don't have any of that in this game. We do not have any places anywhere that I can think of in this game where in character a player exchanges in-game money for a particular service that I just referred to. When I edited the help file earlier the year, because Steve brought it to my attention, he's like, some of my DEF CON friends, they read this information and they didn't like it. And part of it is that they are on the, if you were to take the social and political spectrum, the folks that were complaining would be on the left side of that spectrum. And so he said, I think we need to change it. So I made an edit to the wiki article, and I specifically said this game is 25 years old. It's just not possible for us to go back and change everything to accommodate a temporary cultural, I don't know what's the word I'm looking for, a fad. Because this thing that I'm talking about is a fad, so it will eventually go away, or the culture will change to make it stop. One of the two is going to happen. And we already are seeing cases where the culture has adapted, the culture is stopping this bad behavior. I am 100% in favor of that. Don't get me wrong. So I am totally in favor of women being treated properly, and that they should not be I don't know what word I should use. They should not be taken advantage of by powerful men. That behavior must stop. So I'm 100% agreement with that. So even though it's kind of a fad, it's actually had that particular fad has had damage done to the culture. It's actually changed. It's actually changed how some men like myself would behave in the workplace in a damaging way. There's entire videos on this topic. I really don't want to go into that. I want to use this channel to talk about my game. But that being said, we did change it. This particular race was the last 24 years was a female-only race, and Steve went ahead and he made a change. He said, "Okay, we're going to allow males to be this race, and we're going to change the wiki article to make it a little bit more neutral." To indicate, by the way, this particular race is a parody of games that were in existence during the 90s, the mid 90s when Core was created. Leisure Suit Larry, games like that. It's a parody. That particular race is a parody, and people can choose to use it or not. It's a totally free will thing. Anyway, getting back to this room. So you get a one-time change, and you can do your change up through level 19. And you get one time to change your race. And the reason why it's one time, because there are things that happen that when you change your race, changes your limbs. You're going to have to probably log out, log back in so that your armor updates. Yeah, Jay Hart in the comments in the stream said something very insightful and valuable. He says people need to learn the difference between fantasy and reality. He's exactly right. So not only is this game 25 years old, but the timeline of the game is fictional. So we are situated in the solar system. In the galaxy. So we are in the Milky Way galaxy, but the planet we're on and the star that the planet is orbiting is fictional. It does not exist in real life. And the timeline of the game is set 650 years into the future. You type date, it's going to give you the time in the game's fictional timeline. You take the current year, you add 650 to it. And so right now our in-game year is the year 2671. Now the day of the week, the month, day number, and the time, now that's all real. That is aligned with Earth time. And a player can change their, yeah, that's right. Jay Hart made another comment that is correct. He said the company, so the company is a fictional corporation that runs Core. And it is, in some ways, Jay Hart, it is a bit of a parody. It is subtly making a political statement because it is on the one hand, it's capitalism, but on the other hand, the company is corrupt as can be. And when you hit level 16 and you run through the quest I created called Payroll Mystery, you start peeling back the covers and you start seeing the dirty secrets that are part of what the company is. And the company is corrupt. It is based off of a massive corporation that we would see today. So Jay Hart's comment in the stream, he says, the company functions like a current year corporation. He's exactly right. And that was done deliberately. So the company is initially, when you first join the game, it's like, oh yeah, the company is my friend. The company pays me. You get these, of course, you get these rewards that come from the company. So not knowing the whole history behind the company and what it really and truly is, you have no idea that the company is corrupt. Yes, it's capitalistic in nature, but here's what the company really is. And I touched on this in one of my tutorial videos. If you think about the company, what you really need to be thinking about core is you want to think about one of the old mining towns that was out in the Wild West. So back in the Wild West, you would try to strike it rich. You would move out west. And in some cases, if you're not, doing your own, you're trying to, check for gold in a river, like during the California Gold Rush, right? The California Gold Rush, once it was discovered that there was gold out there, a ton of people moved out west, right, trying to strike it rich. But there was also lots of places like, Colorado, California, other places where there were minerals available to be mined. A corporation back in the day would create a mining town, and they owned everything. So you would work for that particular company that owned the town, and everything that you bought, you were buying from that particular company. So you buy food, you're getting it from the company store. Your housing, you're buying your housing, you're paying your rent to the company. When you mine for the company, you get paid a salary, and the company's doing everything they can to take that money back from you. So they are, they can ratchet up the prices, and there's nothing you can do about it except move if you can. If you can afford to move out, then you move away. You go to another mining town, or whatever, or you start homesteading. That's what core is. Core is a mining colony that is wholly owned by the company, with one exception. And that is when you buy your own personal mining dome. Yes, there's rent that is paid back to it's maintenance upkeep that goes back to the company. So as long as you keep your personal mining dome funded, then you can work. Once you hit level 20, you can mine in your own mine, and you get a higher commission when you turn in the ore versus what you would get if you were to work in a company mine, because the company mine is going to screw you over. Okay, let's take a look. I'm going to prove it to you right now. So I'm inside. Sorry, I'm in the wrong spot. Let's get back to XX. Okay, so I'm in the race change mode. So what I did say is you can change your gender whenever you want. So there's no level limitation. You can do it as many times if you want. So again, if you came in through Mudlet since about August of this year, you're probably male. And if you wanted to be a female, you go to this room and you can change to female. And again, it has no impact on how you play the game, strictly for role play. So it does not affect your stats, doesn't affect your hit points, doesn't affect your skills. Males and females in this game are exactly the same in all respects with respect to gameplay. So it's just a matter of what you prefer. And I made it unlimited because there are a handful of people that play that consider themselves in real life, they consider themselves gender fluid. That's not my thing, but if that's how people want to play, I've made it possible to do exactly that. All right, let's take a look. Okay, and I'm going to go to the mine foreman, and when you run through the tutorial, the mining quest gets thrown at you, and oh, it's almost midnight. Okay, yeah. So every night at midnight, Central Time, U.S. Central Time, the shuttle will launch, and again, it doesn't affect players. This is how the company gets paid for what I'm about to show you. So the player, the mine. Okay. And by the way, that sound effect, that's my voice. Kind of stupid, I know. Okay, what am I right now? I am in Delta Shift. So I need to go to the Delta Foreman. Delta is a part. Okay, I have to go through Beta, and then from Beta I reach Delta. Okay, which one is Delta? Or sorry, which one is Beta? I think. Yeah. Okay, here's my mine foreman. I'm in Delta Shift for this particular character. Now, I want you to see. So as I've been playing, I looted some ore from those monsters you saw me kill during the course of this video, and then I also got 2 rewards. So I got 50 units of titanium. I got all this stuff, right? Okay, so I clock out, and I'm paid. Okay, so I got 554 credits given to me as my reward for turning in this ore. So now my satchel is empty, right? Okay. Did I get paid the full retail value of this ore? Hell no. No way. So let's take a look. So if we were to add together, we take the retail price, the stock market price of these resources. We take a look at what the price per unit is. So if I were to go to the stock market, the game has a stock market and I can buy stocks for any of these metals, and there's other metals and fictional companies that I can buy stocks for. You'll notice that, what do I have here? I had 50 units of titanium. Okay, so when I turned in that titanium, basically the company got this price times 50, and when the shuttle fires off in about 5 minutes, the one you saw the message just a few moments ago. Yeah. Thank you, Jay Hart. Appreciate that vote of confidence. So 50 times 41, do the math. I didn't get paid that. So if you were to take a look at everything that I turned in, it's 6 units of gold. We did create, we took the mithril from Lord of the Rings, and that's one of our metals here. And of course, everything else that is real, except for Corzite. Corzite is a fictional thing that is unique to Core, and this is what makes Core so special in this fictional universe. Core is the only planet in the explored galaxy that has this particular resource, and I'm basically ripping off Dune. I'm ripping off Dune. Corzite is like spice in the world of Dune. So 25 years ago, we created Corzite. It is a metal that can be converted to fuel for spaceships. And this is how it's possible to get from Earth to Core. Core is the furthest planet that has yet to be explored, furthest planet from Earth that has been explored. So we're kind of like, if we were to put it in Star Wars terminology, it's like we're in the outer rim. Okay, so Corzite is what makes it possible for our export shuttle to make it back to Earth. And then basically the company has an ore warehouse. In the ore warehouse is all the ore that has been clocked out by players. And then at midnight, 10% of that ore is sent back to Earth, and that's how the company gets its money. So that, yeah, the company has infinite credits in terms of how the game operates. But this is how we explain in role play terms as to how the company is able to fund all of the operations. So the shuttle just blasted off. We took 10% of the ore that sat in the company warehouse. The company just got paid for it, even though, yeah, it takes a while for that trip to happen. But in game, the company just got paid. The player, when they clock out, and this is how, when you play through payroll in Mystery, there's a little cutscene in that quest where it explains how the company makes profit off of core. So core is one of the company's many properties across the galaxy, but core is the most profitable one in existence because of the corezite. You can see the stock market price for this particular material is more than anything else. Mithril is kind of high, but corezite's number one because of its importance to the galaxy. So as you level up, you will eventually be able to mine corezite. And you get to be either you hit level 20, you get your own mine. Your mine has a weekly resource cycle where resources shift, and there is a chance that corezite will become available to your mine. And also, if you get to be a certain level and a certain mining rank, you'll have access to the best company mine in the game, and that has corezite in it. You're getting about, I'd have to go look at the formulas, I'd have to do the math in my head, which I can't do because I've been drinking. But you're getting about 5% of what the ore is actually worth when you clock out. The company pockets the 95%. So once you figure out that formula, because if you had just a couple of types of ores in your satchel and you clock out and you check the stock market and you see what the price is and then you see what you got paid, and you before you clock out, you look at your satchel so you know what's in there. And you can calculate very easily by looking at your satchel. You can pull out your calculator and you can figure out what the stock market value in total of all these things are. And then you look at what you got paid, and we've had a couple of players that figure this out, and they're like, man, the company's ripping me off. Yeah, that's exactly what the company's doing, is the company's exploiting you. So you get paid some credits, just like back in the Wild West. The mine workers, they work the mine, they get paid like a wage. They don't get paid for the value of what they extracted from the earth. They get paid a wage. Right here, you are getting a fraction. Exactly. Got to pay for the free housing, the free apartment you get at level 3. Oh, this is not explained. Earlier this year, people have problems when they get their apartment because the housing domes are so big, and it's the first time you try to find your apartment, it's confusing. So I created this command, and it tells you, okay, your apartment is in the north housing dome, floor number 3, southeast quadrant, unit 27. You saw that in my score earlier in this video. And it tells you, okay, it knows where you are. It says, okay, it is about south and west of where you are. Why is this the south and west? Because I'm not in the center of my dome yet. I'm in this office. Here's something that I showed a new player the other day. I said, do this for me. Type the word compass and hit enter. and you get this overhead representation of the dome that you're inside in your position in the dome, and you are this little red asterisk. So every room in the game that is part of the what I'll call the city complex is the mines and the housing domes and the city itself and the other things that are connected via these mass transit tubes. Every single room has a unique Cartesian coordinate. This is deliberate because when I was a player, when I was back in college, and I was playing MUDs, because I got addicted. I got absolutely addicted to MUDs when I was in college, and I played too much. I hurt my grades one year. But I would go to the computer room, the computer lab. I'd stay up until like 1 o'clock in the morning. And what I ended up doing is that I brought with me graph paper, like a tablet of graph paper and a pen or a pencil, and I would map out the MUD. And what I discovered quickly is the areas would overlap. Like I'd go from one coder's area to another coder's area, and they didn't have a Cartesian coordinate system. And so one coder's area became very clear I was in somebody else's area because the stuff would start overlapping. So when I created core from the get-go, from the very beginning, it said there shall be no overlap, period. So we invented the Cartesian coordinate system. We didn't invent coordinates, but we implemented it at core. Every single room has coordinates that are unique to that room, and it is possible if you set aside the player mining domes and you set aside the company mines that are beneath the surface of the ground floor, because that's all player made. Players can expand the mine underneath the ground level, so they can expand it however they want. They can make it go as wide and tall as they want. They can go down. They can go deep, and that's all player controlled. But aside from that, if you take a look at the main city complex, it is possible to map the game, each plane, Z plane. So Z, Z0, that's ground floor. Next level up, that's Z10. You had a basement area like the city has, the city sewer. First level beneath ground level is Z minus 10. So each plane is mappable. You can completely map it on graph paper, and if you have a client like Mudlet, you can use it to map. And it leaves a little bit to be desired. It's not very pretty, but it is. You can map the game entirely if you so wish. Oh, Nick just completed a quest. He got enough ore, and he got some quartzite. Awesome. Okay. So find APT, find apartment. It's okay. Okay. We're now in the same axis. We just have to go down, south. Okay. I'm now in the North Housing Dome, and it says now my compass looks different. So these housing domes are huge. They're the same size as the city dome. So if you can't see very well, the diameter is 21 rooms wide. And notice that at the top, I'm up here. Notice you got these little lines. That's a mass transit tube. And that's the zoom sound that you're hearing.
Zoom.
Okay, so you just entered the mass transit tube. Take a look at your compass again. Boom. I've just traveled from here to here. 21 divided by 2. I just traveled that in one shot. Find apartment again. Okay. You are now needing to go up to floor 4. Or when I say you, I mean me. So you go up. There's another sound I recorded. I know it's goofy. recorded this crap years ago. Floor 2, floor 3, floor 4. So now I'm on the proper floor, and it tells me so. It says I'm now Z, let's say 50. So I'm 4 levels up from the ground floor. Okay. I am now on the correct floor, and now it's telling me you now need to go to this particular quadrant. I need to go to the southeast quadrant. So I take the southeast exit. You can see the apartments have been grouped into 4 quadrants, like slices of a pie. So I'm trying to say in words. Okay, now I'm in the southeast quadrant. Find apartment. This is okay. Now it's telling me I'm looking for unit number 27, and it gives you the Cartesian coordinates for the corridor where your apartment is, the entrance to your apartment. All of this text, by the way, these explanations, you can turn it off. So if you do it, once you know how it works, you can use this command to say, I don't want to see this information ever again on this character. So I'm going to do exactly that. And now the output I get is a lot shorter. Part of this is for sighted people and blind people alike, like the ability to suppress information that's repeated over and over again. I don't want to know all that. This is okay. Now, in general terms, south and east. So compass, yeah, it gives me my XYZ coordinates, but I can also, this is special for the housing domes only. When you're in the housing area, you can type the word map. Only sighted people can take advantage of this because this is ASCII art. Somebody who's using a screen reader, they're not going to be able to, the screen reader will not present this in a way that is meaningful. It's going to sound like garbage. But if you've traveled in the past and you've stayed at a hotel, you might remember in most hotels, modern hotels, and even old hotels will have typically, like, you go to the elevator room will have a map that's on the wall in some cases, and it will, in some cases, it'll say, okay, your hotel room, if your room number is 10, you need to go in this direction. So 1 through 10, you go down this hallway. If you're 11 through whatever, you go this direction. And you go in the direction that it tells you. You may get to a T intersection, and there'll be another sign. Units 11 through 20 go this way. 21 through 50 go this way. So this is what this map is. So again, I can either type find apartment to be reminded of what my number is, or it's in my score. So here also, so I'm looking for unit number 27. So what I do, if I'm a sighted person, I just look for 27 on this map. Right now I'm standing, I probably need to improve this. It doesn't tell me where I am. Compass does. So compass shows I'm 2 southeast of the center. In the map, 2 southeast of the center. So this is the turbo lift. So right now I'm standing between unit 14 is north, unit number 1 is west. I'm looking for 27. Where's 27 on this thing? Okay, it's here. So I need to go a couple of steps southeast down this hallway. So there's a southeast, there's like you can see here, there's this diagonal hallway that cuts through. Okay, I'll just keep going. And, oh, sorry, went too far. This is me. Okay, so the person's name, so if an apartment is assigned to a player, then the player names are displayed. I cannot enter Rogzel's because he has not granted permission to me to enter, but I can enter my own. And the first time you enter your apartment, you get these list of commands. You can change the description of the room. You can make it say whatever you want. You can store and retrieve items in your storage, which is your workbench. And I don't have anything in there. And I can just store the name of the item, and I have, so much capacity here. So anyway, that's a little help that people who are new to the game, again, this find apt command was only added a couple of months ago. It took quite a bit of work to get it to work properly and to be understandable, but once I put it in, it really helped. People that were lost and were trying to find their apartment. Again, these domes are huge, and you're inside your apartment. There's no compass. And it's only when you leave the apartment that the compass becomes meaningful. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and end the recording. I hope that this was useful. I hope that in some way you may have been entertained. I certainly hope so. If you've not yet played Core, here's your invitation to join the game. Again, it's free. There will never be a microtransaction because we are forbidden from charging you a dime. So the server has been donated to us. The staff, like myself, we donate our time to do the programming, to do the administration of the game. Everything is donated. So we invite you to join. There are 2 ways you can join, by the way. So if you don't have Mudlet, you just have like Putty or another Mud client, you just need to know the server hostname, which is coremud.org, and you need to know the port number. So this is what you're seeing here, port 4000. That is the quote-unquote telnet port. So you can use just straight telnet. We don't recommend that. If you have Mudlet, we want you to instead, and I'll show you a gray. Take a look at his profile. I'll have to look at one of my other profiles that I have saved off. Yeah. So when you create your profile in Mudlet, put in 4022 and click the checkbox that says secure. You're going to come in through TLS. Everything's encrypted, including your password. Everything between you and the game is completely encrypted. And we advocate that, number one, when you pick a password for Core, don't use a password that you're using elsewhere. So make a unique password for Core, write it down. I am a strong advocate of the program called KeePass, KeePass. It's a free program. Get it from keypass.info. I'll just type it out. It's the website you get it from. It's a free tool. It's a password vault. Saves your passwords encrypted at rest. Once you get used to using this program, you will never again forget passwords for various things. And it has a password generator too, so you can have it. If you don't know what to pick, just use the password generator that comes with the tool, and then save it. Save the entry. Name it like Core, maybe the name of your player. Save the password. There's a little spot where you can put in like the website address, and there's a spot for notes, and you can put coremud.org space 4022 in the notes, and that's a little reminder is how you get in. And that will allow you, like I said, we really advocate that you use the secure mode in Mudlet so that everything that you do is encrypted. Your password is not seen by a man in the middle. And again, we do our best to protect the game. So your password is encrypted at rest in the game. I don't know what your password is. I can't crack it. I can't see what it is. When you create your character for the first time, the game does ask you to put in your email address. Not because we spam you. We don't spam. I think I've sent like a email to the entire player base like over the last 25 years. I've maybe done that twice. And that was when our IP address changed. So, and I don't do that anymore. The last one I just sent to the people who hadn't logged in for a while, and they were PMD owners with shops. And I tell them, oh, by the way, we're on a new server. The new server has a bunch of bugs fixed, and you're invited to come back and play again. But the purpose of having your email saved off, and by the way, your email address is not visible to another person. So if I, look at Alex's information, I don't see his email address. Only administrators can see. And the whole purpose of having your email address, and please don't put in a bogus fictional address. Put in your real email. Again, we don't spam you, but that is the only way that you can request a password reset. So if you're not using KeePass or some other tool, and you forgot your password, and it's been a couple of years since you've signed in last time, and you've completely forgotten what your core password is, you will contact me or Steve, and you'll say, my character name is Alec, in my case, XX. My character name is XX, and I forgot my password, and I need my password reset. We can reset your password to a known value, and then we tell you what that password is. But in order for us to do that, you need to know your email address that you use to register your character, because that is the only way we're going to verify. We're going to send an email to that email address with your new password. And so if you give us a bogus a bogus email address, we can't help you. There's a way you can change your email address in game. So for example, some people used their school address, and they're not in university anymore, and so that address is no longer valid. You can type nowadays we do not require your real name. So everybody who's created the character in the last, I don't know, 6 to 8 months, we don't prompt you. We don't want to know your real name. So we have older characters, older players, given the ability to either type the word anonymous or they can type in a name. But nowadays, we don't need that information. Only piece of information we need is a valid email address. And this is not a secret. When you sign into the game, my address as the administrator is displayed. And that is a requirement for some of the med listing sites. They require knowing the administrator's address. The administrator's address has to be presented on the login screen. So that is one of the first things that a new player sees when they sign into Core, is they see my email address. And it's rarely used in terms of for game interactions. Every now and then, again, somebody will send me something saying, hey, I need my password reset, or I might get a bug report or a complaint. But generally speaking, it's just there to verify that I am the owner of the game. But for a regular player, you need your real email address here. So you can type in your address if it changes. And if I were to change my address, I would put my new one in. I'm not going to do that. This is accurate. So just hit enter. Otherwise, to put in your email address, it's now saved with your character file. That is available to me in plain text, so I can see the email address that's associated with your character. I cannot decrypt your password. So what I do is I change it to a value that I know, and then I send to your registered email address, I send you what your new password is, and then you come in and you change it. You change it with this Sorry, password. I'll type that. So you can change your password anytime you want. I'm just going to leave it alone. And if I type the correct old password, I can type in a new one. And I encourage you, if you get your password reset by me or by Steve, we're going to tell you what your temporary, basically we're giving you a temporary password that's simple. And then we tell you in the email, here's your temporary password. Use this command to change your password to something that's more complex. And absolutely do not use a password that's associated with any kind of finances that you have. So don't use a bank password. Don't use your Fidelity investment and password or whatever. Don't use your work password. You don't want, again, everything's encrypted, but on the server, if somebody were to hack into the server, and again, we have all kinds of protections built in to prevent that from happening, but God forbid if that happens and somebody gets, they either root the server or they get access to the core account, and if they discover the architecture, the directory paths of how, where the player files live, they could, grab your password and run it against a brute force or a cracker. And, we have been working on improving the algorithm, but, I have to talk to Steve to see if he fixed it, but probably not the best algorithm. So that's why I really encourage you to use a password that's unique for core, that is not the same as a password. A lot of people get into this habit where they just use the same password over and over and over again. And for the love of God, don't use a password that you have on LinkedIn or Facebook. Oh, please, I'm begging you. Don't use that. Don't use if you have a Yahoo email account like I have, for the love of God, don't use that password here, because the three things I just rattled off, Yahoo, Facebook, and LinkedIn, they have all been hacked, and passwords have been leaked, and it is available for sale on the dark web, and you know that you got hit if you get this email from somebody saying, I know what your password is. Here's what your password is. You need to send me X number of Bitcoin because I've taken your credential, and they give these threats, right? They say, I know what your password is. I'm trying your password on other sites. You need to pay me, and they try to blackmail you. So don't use those passwords here. In fact, if you use those three sites that I mentioned and you haven't changed your password in a long time, do it. Change your password. Make each one of those sites, whether you're using Gmail or Yahoo or Hotmail or any of these quote-unquote free email providers, and you haven't changed your password for a few years, change it. So I'm going to stop my lecturing. I'm going to get off the soapbox. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video. I will try to make more of these. And again, for those of you who live in the United States, yeah, exactly. Yeah, iCloud, spicy pics in your iPhone. I got J Hart. I got one of these emails, and it's actually pretty funny because they were trying to blackmail me, and they said, "Oh, I got access to your webcam, and I've seen you do things inappropriate." They're accusing you of pleasuring yourself, and they claimed, "Oh yeah, I caught that on your camera, and if you don't give me so many Bitcoin, I'm going to. I know all of your all of your Facebook friends. I have access to your Facebook friends list. If you don't pay me this amount anonymously through Bitcoin, and then give me proofs that you did that, I'm going to share these spicy pictures with everybody, your family, your coworkers, your friends. This video that I'm recording right now is a USB camera that I only have connected when I'm doing something like this, or if I'm doing a Zoom at work. When I'm not deliberately wanting to transmit, I unplug the thing. And my laptop does not have a built-in camera. So when I get one of these blackmail things, I just laugh. Like, really? That's an interesting trick. You want me to believe that you have something of me when my camera, I don't even have a camera in this laptop, and I only have the camera deliberately plugged in, and as soon as I complete the stream, I'm unplugging it. So good luck with that. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So anyway, have a good night. Those of you here in the United States, we're now past Thanksgiving, but I hope that those who observe it had a happy Thanksgiving, and have a happy December starting next week. So be well. Take care. Bye bye.